Good morning. Here we go. Almost time.
That are in the joint. Pinch nerves are very common, and they do come from spinal misalignments, but not everybody that has a problem has a pinch nerve.
Boy, what a great day. What a great rally, huh? Did you guys like that Trump rally last night? It was a great one.
I tell you that. When I walk out of your office, I feel like a whole new person. I know you take great care of everybody, but I know you're going to go that extra mile for our wonderful Steve KANE listeners. Doctor, give them the number of the office where they can make an appointment.
It's Coast Chiropractic Injury and Wellness Center, and the phone number is 954-463-3066. 954-463.
Oh, man, we've got some great stuff to talk about today. Just about 2 minutes till we go live.
Of US 1 and Oakland Park Boulevard, right off Middle River Drive. The address is 2510 East Oakland Park Boulevard.
Hey, Catherine.
Dr. Troy Lemarsky, a great healer. Make an appointment today.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone if you die?
Oh, yeah. Trump is on fire right now.
Your benefits even while you were still alive. Due to changes in the insurance industry,
Make sure you subscribe if you don't. If you're new,
have adjusted their premiums.
this is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. My name is Brian Craig. The show's The Steve KANE Show. I co-host the show with Steve KANE. And it's also the most pro-Donald Trump radio show anywhere. So, subscribe. Hey, Sarah. Good morning. Getting ready for the cruise. Been making all kinds of plans for the cruise. No, sir. Don't talk to me. Okay, here we go. It's showtime.
Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450
I gotta get some new.
couples. When you complete
Oh,
the
yeah.
trust with attorney
Yeah, I'm gonna get into that,
we
Fred.
will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices in South Florida, including downtown Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve KANE Show on iHeartRadio. Just
Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve KANE Show, on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all, to the program. My name is Brian Craig. This is also the most pro-Donald Trump radio show in America. You will never hear me criticize Donald Trump. I always must say, not that he's done anything that should be criticized or I feel should be criticized. He's perfect, and but you'll never hear me criticize him. I promise you that. Oh, Brian, you'll have no credibility. You gotta... But please, there's plenty of people criticizing Donald Trump. I'm here to help Donald Trump, not criticize him. Well, welcome to the show. It is great. I'm going to make this announcement before the votes have even been cast and counted. Hey, Buttigieg, he declared victory in Iowa before the votes were tabulated and released. I'm declaring the winner of New Hampshire is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the winner of New Hampshire. That rally last night was spectacular. Now, I did not know this. I found out this morning. Steve KANE told me this morning that Fox News Channel did not carry the Trump New Hampshire rally. Is that true? I watched it on YouTube on Right Side Broadcasting. But I am shocked that they didn't carry the rally. But then I was talking about this on my podcast last night. By the way, listen to my podcast, The Brian Craig Show podcast, on most podcast platforms. I also upload my podcast to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig on YouTube. Fox News Channel is very, very busy sucking up to former Mayor Pete. He's no longer Mayor Pete. He's former Mayor Pete. He's officially unemployed. That's right. Mayor Pete is unemployed. He has no job. Can you imagine this guy? You got this unemployed millennial who's up in New Hampshire telling people to vote for him today. Man. Trump had the Trump Organization when he ran for president. Anyway, I guess that's a typical millennial. The only difference between Mayor Pete and most millennials is at least he's got his own place. He's not living with his parents. But what Fox News is in the business of doing is sucking up to the unemployed Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And he's doing well. He's been doing well because they fixed Iowa, stole it from Bernie Sanders. And Fox News is angling to get a Democrat Party debate on the Fox News channel. So they figure if they're nice to Mayor Pete, and he seems to be the emerging frontrunner, although we'll see what happens today, that they'll get a Democrat debate, which for some reason they desperately wanted. At least Chris Wallace desperately wants it. But no, Trump is amazing last night, and ABC News is a reporter that follows Trump around, their White House correspondent. Let me play this. This was ABC News at the Trump rally in New Hampshire last night, talking about the rally size. I know, it's crazy. They're actually talking about the size of a Trump rally in the liberal mainstream press. This is ABC News yesterday reporting on the Trump rally size in New Hampshire. Listen to this.
ABC News Chief White House Correspondent Jonathan Karl's at the president's rally and joins me now. Looks like a full house there right behind you. Just give us a sense of how enthused President Trump's base is, especially by his acquittal.
Lindsay, Trump supporters are as fired up as I have ever seen them. I mean, this rally is in an arena that I was at just 2 nights ago, Saturday night, at an event that included all of the major Democratic nominees, the candidates for the Democratic nomination. And we have a bigger crowd here by far just for Donald Trump than we had on Saturday for all of the Democrats. Some of the...
What? Did you hear that? Yeah, I know. That's ABC News. Jonathan Karl, he's probably being reprimanded for truthful reporting. But if you're calling in, I apologize. I missed the calls. If you want to call back, please do. I had the phone board. I was cleaning the studio, doing some dusting, and I moved the phone board far away out of sight. And I missed all the calls coming in. So all of the Democrats running in New Hampshire had a joint event at the same venue the president was at, and they had it on Saturday night, a weekend. President Trump is there on a Monday night. Monday nights are rough. And President Trump on a weeknight had more people at his rally than the Democrats had in the same venue when they had all the Democrats there. Yeah, Jonathan Karl, he's now been sent to Nome, Alaska to report on snow flurries in Alaska, and they're pissed off at him. You've lost your White House speech, Jonathan Karl. You're not supposed to report the news. You're supposed to promote the narrative. But yeah, and that really tells you everything you need to know. Mayor Pete Buttigieg is not the front runner. He's not the emerging front runner. The fix is in with this guy. Bernie Sanders won Iowa. They somehow awarded most of the delegates to Buttigieg because all pigs are equal, but some pigs are more equal than others. Anyone know what that's from on the left? Probably the greatest book ever written, next to the Bible, which is the greatest story ever told. But yeah, Animal Farm. And since some votes matter more in the Democrat caucus, the man that lost by 6,114 votes, Pete Buttigieg, remember, Bernie won by 6,114 votes, but he still lost the delegates. So so the fix is in on Buttigieg, and they're really going to start promoting him as a front runner. It's called propaganda. He is not the front runner. He does not have popular support. He made I don't have this clip because it was, I did pull up the clip, but it didn't translate. Buttigieg this week was speaking to a black organization. He was on stage being interviewed by a black guy speaking to a black audience. And he was talking about campaign funding and how money has messed up politics. Unless you send it to him, of course. And he's speaking to a black man who's interviewing him with an audience of African Americans. And he meant to say dark money. Dark money is a type of campaign money that's kind of hidden. And instead of saying dark money, he said black money. And then he corrected himself. Mayor Pete Buttigieg is a klutz. He's a kid. He's inexperienced. He's not ready for prime time. And he's been elevated far beyond where he should be. You know where he's at right now? He's where Marco Rubio was when he gave the response to Obama's State of the Union. Remember that? With all the water drinking and everything, he looked like Albert Brooks in broadcast news. Marco Rubio, little Marco, remember that? It was embarrassing. Jindal had a similar issue. You don't hear from Jindal anymore, Bobby Jindal, when he gave an embarrassing response to Obama's first State of the Union a long time ago. But Buttigieg is being used right now. He is being used by the Democrats, and when they're done with him, they will make sure he does not receive the nomination. And what they're using him for is this. The Democrat Party right now is in a complete terrorized state. I'm talking about their establishment. And what their biggest fear is that these Democratic socialists are taking over their party leadership. They're terrified of Bernie Sanders winning because if Bernie Sanders wins the nomination, they are officially a socialist party, officially. And they're using Mayor Pete Buttigieg to try to split the youth vote. Because Bernie Sanders poll, everything with them is about groups and people and demographics. They don't look at people as people. They look at people as voting blocks and things like this, the Democrats. Bernie Sanders is very popular among the youth vote, and they're using Pete Buttigieg to try to split the youth vote. And also, they're pushing him in these very white states too. They're trying to split Bernie Sanders' vote to cost him either the primary or have him finish second or skim through and barely win. They're just using Mayor Pete because they don't want the Democratic Socialist to be the nominee of their party, because then they will no longer be the Democrat Party. They'll be the Democratic Socialist Party, which is a socialist party. So as soon as they get Bernie Sanders out of the race, you'll find they're going to drop Mayor Pete, former Mayor Pete, the unemployed former mayor of South Bend, Indiana. He's unemployed. Let's not forget that. They got an unemployed guy running for president. But he knows everything. No job, but he's gonna do it all. By the way, what's the South Bend mayor's salary? I wonder how he's been supporting. Anyway, as soon as Bernie is out of the race, they're going to drop Mayor Pete like that. Boom. And they're going to plug somebody else in. Who it is, I don't know right now. We don't know. I still believe Romney is working out a deal to come in the convention, possibly with Hillary Clinton, to have a broker convention and win the nomination and save America from this great president who has our economy booming like it's never boomed before in peacetime. Yeah, so that's what's going on, okay? So don't fall into this thing that Mayor Pete is getting the nomination. They're just using him. And let's see how well he does in these southern states. These southern primary states are coming up. Let's see how well he does there. He's going to get creamed because, South Carolina, the black vote is key in South Carolina for Democrats. And Trump has taken away so much of the black vote. They're in a lot of trouble. But black people in general are good church-going Christian people. And they don't really care for gay people that much. And Buttigieg has two big problems with black voters in South Carolina. One is the gay issue because it's a evangelical group. And also, he fired that black police chief, and he's had a very rough relationship with the black community of South Bend. And Black Lives Matter have been following Pete all over the country, protesting him. And believe me, black voters in South Carolina are very well aware of Pete Buttigieg's problem. So don't believe any of the hype about Mayor Pete. They're using him to split the youth vote to try to get Bernie out of the race. Then they're going to drop him. And I want to get some other reports. Is it true that Fox News Channel did not carry the Trump New Hampshire rally, which was a historic rally, a historic event that President Trump put together last night? Give me a call, 1-888-GO-KANE1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I know it's crazy that if they didn't, that's crazy. But I promise you, you cannot trust Fox News. You cannot trust Fox News Channel. They're trying to get that Democrat Party debate. They're sucking up to... Chris Wallace seems to have a new interview with Mayor Pete every other day now. That's what's going on over there. All right, let's take a break. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE1, 888-465-2631. Oh, man. A great way to support Trump and support this program is to purchase a MyPillow. MyPillow is a great sponsor here of the Steve Kane Show. They are the most out-of-the-closet pro-Trump company in America, MyPillow. Mike Lindell over there, that's how, that's amazing that he's so pro-Donald Trump, Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow. And his support of Donald Trump is what led to them being an advertiser here on the Steve Kane Show. And, what had happened is Trump did a shout-out at a rally to Mike Lindell. Some of you might have seen this. First time I was like, wow, that's the MyPillow guy, Mike Lindell. And I tweeted something about Mike Lindell being there showing his support for Trump, and Mike Lindell started following me on the Twitter. And my wife ordered me a MyPillow for Christmas before this last Christmas. And I love the MyPillow so much, and my wife loved the one I bought her, and my daughter loved the one I bought her. My wife contacted Mike Lindell and talked to him about advertising on the program, and they've been with us ever since. And MyPillow has done an amazing thing for us. I asked them to do this, and I was very surprised that they did this. Every special at MyPillow.com you can take advantage of with the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. They have Sean Hannity specials. They have Mike Gallagher specials. They have radio listener specials. They have Sean Hannity specials. They have a lot of specials that have no name, okay? Whatever the special is, you can take advantage of it with the promo code KANE, KANE at checkout. I asked them to do that. I was shocked that they did, and they did that for you. And the MyPillow people have told me that they have gotten an amazing response from you and the Steve Kane listening audience. In fact, you know, we have listeners all over America and the world, but primarily we're a local Florida radio show. We have shocked them by the great support they have received from what primarily is a local radio show, the Steve Kane Show. So, you know, Valentine's Day is on Friday. You still have time to order. But you don't have to order MyPillow products just for Valentine's Day. They're great for any day of the year. Buy yourself one, too. And go there, browse through the specials at MyPillow.com. Use that promo code KANE, KANE, at checkout. But the one you can never go wrong with is the 2 MyPillows for the price of 1. You get 2 premium MyPillows for the price of 1. And that's absolutely amazing when you use the promo code KANE. The MyPillow pet beds, 30% off when you use the promo code KANE, and there's a lot of other great deals there as well. So it's a great way to support Trump, support a pro-Trump company, and support the most pro-Donald Trump radio show in America, the Steve Kane Show. Use that promo code KANE at checkout at MyPillow.com and take advantage of these great offers. You can also order by phone at MyPillow, and when you order by phone, make sure you tell the person on the phone that you're using the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and the number is 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, we'll finish up the break and be right back. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show.
Right now, the U.S. is in the midst of a deadly opioid epidemic.
Steve Kane
In
Show.
South Florida.
It's Brian, but hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hey, Jeff. Thanks, Claire, for the super chat. Appreciate that.
Mom and Dad's medicine cabinet is frequently the gateway to the horrors of hardcore addiction down the road. Drug problems left unattended are only going to get worse. This is not something you can do on your own. You need expert professional help, and if your family is disintegrating in front of your eyes and you feel helpless,
make sure you guys
I'm
subscribe.
here to tell you that help is available. Call
We'll be back in about a minute.
Sal at the Edge Recovery, 561 area
This is
code
a
523-4325.
vanilla latte.
This is his
I'm
personal
very millennial
cell phone.
soy boy drink. Huh?
523-4325. If your loved one refuses treatment, the Edge Recovery will conduct an intervention and get them into the treatment plan that they need. The Edge Recovery offers every option from intervention to 30-day rehab to sober living to counseling with a licensed therapist, as well as group therapy treatment. It's covered by most insurance, but no matter what your situation is, the Edge Recovery has options for you. Call Sal at the Edge Recovery. Do it today. 561 area code 523-4325. Again, that's Sal's personal cell phone. 561-523-4325.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on.
Yeah, my cat was sleeping on me again last night. Welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Let's go right to the phones. My name's Brian Craig. We are live from 6 until 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. Good morning. You are on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, my name's Tom. I'm calling from Coral Springs, Florida.
Oh, okay.
I'm calling to respond to your question today, spots for the Trump rally. No, I think this opportunity it like 4 to 6 months ago. I started watching the rallies on the OAN channel.
Well, OAN, One American News, carry them. I don't have One American News, so I watch on YouTube at Right Side Broadcasting. Why do you think they didn't carry this historic rally last night? I mean, for a Republican president who's a sitting president to have a massive rally the night before the Democrat primary in New Hampshire is very historic. Why do you think Fox News didn't carry it?
I can only speculate, but they seem to not be as conservative as they used to be.
Yeah, especially Chris Wallace. Yeah, you're in Coral Springs. We're in Coral Springs, too. You know, our studio's in Coral Springs. I didn't know if you...
Found your channel driving to work one morning, and now I can't stop listening to it.
This show's addicting. It's like crack. It's like crack. That's correct. That's correct. All right. Well, that's true. All right, Coral Springs. Thanks for the call.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
All right. Let's go to Jeff in Maine. Maine. Hey. Yeah, what's the weather doing in Maine this morning?
We got a bunch of ice and
Oh, man. This is short sleeve, short wearing weather here in Paradise in Florida. What's on your mind, Jeff?
keep rubbing it in, Brian.
Well, you know, this December, you should come on our Steve KANE Trump 2020 victory cruise. We'll be sipping pina coladas in the Caribbean, and you could either sip the pina coladas in Old San Juan with us one afternoon, or you can be up there in the snow and the ice and the sleet of Maine.
That's right. Hey, Brian, we were talking about the last time how desperate the Dems are. You're right about them boosting up Buttigieg for him to, whatever his name is, he eventually is going to drop out, and they're going to prop someone else up. They're so desperate.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do. They're in full panic mode. They don't know who can beat them.
Well, you know what the Democrats are like? The Democrats are in a state of mind that strippers and porn actresses are in. And what that state of mind is survival mode. They're in survival mode right now. So they're not trying to win the election. I'm talking about the Democrat establishment. They're not trying to win the presidential election. They're not even trying. What they're trying to do is win a civil war inside their party. The Democrat, they've been catering to the socialists since the days of FDR, maybe even Woodrow Wilson, the Democrats, and they never intended on the socialists to take over their party, and they're about to, with Bernie Sanders, who had a pretty sizable victory, over 6,000 votes in Iowa. So they're trying to stop the Democrat Party from becoming officially the Democratic Socialist Party, because that's what Bernie says he is. The Democrats' mistake, Jeff, is Bernie Sanders should never have been allowed to run in this election or the previous one. He's not a Democrat. He's a Democratic Socialist. That's not the same thing. They should not have let him run.
A Democrat socialist to me is just a communist. It's a nice word.
Yeah.
Socialism always leads to communism every time.
Well, I think it was when it was either Boy George or Elton John. When I was a kid, I watched it. I can't remember if it was Elton John or Boy George, but I saw one of them on an interview, and this was in the '80s, and it was I'm pretty sure it was Phil Donahue or Barbara Walters, which shows you how long ago it was. And she asked, whichever one it was, they asked them about their sexuality, and they claimed to be bisexual. And the reason that a lot of gay people claim to be bisexual in the early '80s is because it wasn't acceptable to be 100% gay at the time. So they claimed to be bisexual. But everyone knows Boy George and Elton John were gay. But they were, that's what democratic socialism is. Democrat socialism, they're communist. But communism is not palatable even in these extreme liberal circles in America. So they call themselves Democrat socialist and act like there's something they're not.
That's right. And that's exactly what Hitler did. Democrat socialist.
Well, Hitler was the National Socialist Workers' Party. Yeah.
In all countries that almost 50% of America believes in that BS.
If you only read one book this year, read Dinesh D'Souza's book, The Big Lie, and he talks about how the Democrats embraced the Nazis and the fascists prior to our involvement in the Second World War in liberal circles in this country. It's a very fascinating read. But, the historians, they keep calling them the Nazis. You have to read The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich to hear them called out for what they are, the National Socialist Workers' Party. And the reason the historians always say Nazi, Nazi, Nazi is because they don't want socialism connected to Adolf Hitler.
That's right.
They've hidden it. We've hidden it. All right, Jeff in Maine. So that Trump rally last night was, I'm not saying that the rally and the speech itself was anything new or unique, but it was historic that he did it on the eve of this Democrat primary. I mean, the Democrats in New Hampshire, I predict, will have one of their lowest voter turnouts in history because they're so discouraged because Trump came in and he used the same venue that all the Democrats used Saturday night and had more people than every Democrat combined had. The Democrat voting base in New Hampshire has got to be really, really discouraged this morning, I would think, wouldn't you?
And there's a reason they didn't show the Trump rally. His crowds are so enthusiastic, so fired up, so huge. The mainstream media is the same as the Democrat Party. They're one and the same. They don't want the America that was founded. They want a new country. And people don't realize that socialism, all this is about power. Those in charge, in control.
Yeah.
And we don't need Democrats in control. We need constitutional conservatives.
Yeah, I mean, if you went to the Soviet Union during I remember when this was a big wake up call when they had the overthrow of Gorbachev, in the Soviet Union, and I was watching it on TV at the time because it was an amazing thing to see. Gorbachev was at his a resort on the Black Sea, and even though the Soviet Union was a third world country and the workers' paradise, the ruling elite all had these resorts along the Black Sea, which are like Mediterranean-like resorts. And if you go to Cuba, the party leaders have beach houses and everything else. And I mean, the leadership it always live like kings and queens, while the people in the socialist society live in complete poverty and starvation.
And that's exactly how every Democrat city is running.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Yeah, I know, and it's a sad thing.
Flourishing cities, they are conservative
Steve KANE Show.
Republicans running the show.
Yeah, there's no question about it. The only major city that's run by Democrats that is not completely a trash heap is Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia is an exception to the rule. I don't know why that is. I've spent a lot of time in Atlanta, and it's not like these other Democrat places. I don't know why, but it is. It's the exception to the rule.
Well, I didn't know that. That's good to know.
It is, and maybe a lot of it has to do, it's a very religious community, and it's the hometown of Martin Luther King. Maybe that has something to do with it. Yeah.
It's rude.
Yeah.
Conservative.
Yeah. Well, Martin Luther King was a Republican. Yeah, Martin Luther King was a Republican. I'll tell you, during the last election, I learned something from CNN that I did not know. I never knew what led up to Martin Luther King switching to the Democrat Party. And CNN, they did during the 2016 election, had an entire documentary series on the major presidential elections. And they did one on the 1960 election, of course. And what had happened, Jeff, I learned this on CNN. I'm going to give them credit for this. Martin Luther King was a Republican until the 1960 election, and what had happened was he was in Georgia, the Democrat-controlled South, doing one of his things, and a local Democrat sheriff arrested him in the middle of the night and took him to a jail out in the middle of nowhere. And you got to understand, this is 1960. There was no internet. There were no cell phones. And Martin Luther King's wife was afraid they were going to lynch him. And she tried to get, she was trying to get him out. So she got a hold of Vice President Nixon, and Nixon could not get him out of the jail because Nixon and Eisenhower were Republicans, and the Democrat sheriff that was going to lynch Martin Luther King was a Democrat. He wouldn't talk to Nixon or Ike. And Martin Luther King's wife got a hold of someone on the Kennedy campaign who got a hold of President Kennedy, and President Kennedy called his Democrat colleague, the sheriff that was going to lynch Martin Luther King, and got him to release Martin Luther King on the condition that when released, he would come out and endorse him. And you can find this on YouTube. Martin Luther King walked out of the jail, went right up to the press, and gave his support to Senator Kennedy for president in 1960. And that's when he switched. It was a survival mode, and he never switched back. But he was fighting Democrats, Martin Luther King.
A lot of old Democrats that are fed up with their party because they see where they're going. But you'll never hear them get any airtime. They are very picky on which Democrats they allow to speak for them.
Absolutely, yeah. So you agree with me? They're using Mayor Pete to take Bernie out of the race, try to split the youth vote. Yeah, that's exactly. As soon as Bernie is no longer is either out of the race or he's not finishing in first or second, they're going to drop him like boom. He's not ready for prime time. He's a klutz. He's not ready to be running for president. He can run for
Than President Obama did, who only had 18 months as a senator. The rest of his life was a community organizer. The result of the Obama administration was a divided, collapsing country.
Well, you're right. I mean, think about that. Pete Buttigieg has less experience than Obama had. Yeah, no, you're right. Another thing about Buttigieg is he's so arrogant. He thinks he's so experienced and well-spoken and brilliant. He's as intelligent as Brad Pitt because he has no life experience. Some of the dumbest people I know, he's a Rhodes Scholar. Some of the dumbest people I've known in my life have had advanced college degrees. Okay, being credentialed does not make you you got to have some life experience.
President Trump had exceeded all expectations because he had experience.
Well, yeah, and I remember they were talking about, well, he doesn't have experience in politics. Business is politics, especially on the level that he's been on his whole life. He has worked out deals with foreign governments. Look at what he went through with Scotland and the Chinese back in his own private building days. He has worked with governments negotiating major financial deals. He's got it's the art of the deal. He's got a lot of experience, and these guys are just, I mean, listen, when you hear Buttigieg talk, really listen to what he says. Go watch that Chris Matthews interview that they're running the clip of. And he literally says this. Well, in this next election, we need to choose a leader that can turn the page. Yeah, but to what? Well, we got to turn the page to the greater things so we can get everything done together. I mean, he's nothing. Trump, build a wall. Very specific. There's no specifics from this guy. It's vague. But, a lot of people in my family that are older have when Obama was running in 2008 told me that when Obama was talking, it reminded them of President Kennedy, that he was vacuous too, and had, that's not what your country can do for you. Those are, remembered lines, but they're vague, aren't they?
The complete opposite of President Kennedy.
Well,
can do for you, but what can you do for your country? Obama was the complete opposite.
Well, Kennedy, by today's standards, would be like a Pat Robertson type Republican, by today's standards. Very conservative guy. All right, Jeff in Maine, keep warm. In Maine. Oh my goodness. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. 36 minutes after. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes,
thanks, Claire.
can lead to severe
Another super chat from
health
Claire. Thank you.
consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone if you die? The new life insurance policies allow you to access your benefits even while you are still alive. Due to changes in the insurance industry, all life insurance carriers in 2020 have adjusted their premiums to your advantage. Life insurance rates have been lowered due to the updated mortality tables. People are living longer in America, and that means life insurance premiums are lower.
Yeah.
Call Debbie and Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 to learn more and for a free review of your existing life insurance policy. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on radio. Just search for WWN.
All righty. Welcome. You know, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. When I first started in talk radio, I always had this like fantasy that I'd be like Larry King, right? And what I mean by Larry King is not, personality-wise, but the kind of show we did, where he would go to different parts of the country. And today already, Florida, you're on the air. We were just, Maine, you're on the air. And now we're going to travel to Louisiana. It's like doing a nationally syndicated radio show, and it's like a dream. Anybody in local talk radio always dreams of that, and we got it. So thanks so much, Mike in Louisiana, following Jeff in Maine. Hey, Mike in Louisiana, what's up?
You know something. You're right about
Show.
the Democratic Socialism.
Hey.
What are they call these countries that these Democratic Socialists run? They call them the Democratic Republic of the Congo,
Yeah.
Democratic Republic of Germany, or something like that. DRG.
That's correct. Yeah, right. But just slow down on that. East Germany, and for you millennials, snowflakes, East Germany was the communist part of Germany. Was called the Democratic Republic of Germany. Yeah, that's right. They put Democrat on top of all their communist ideologies, don't they? Yeah.
Think about this. Here's the reason why Bernie's running as a Democrat, because he knows he cannot run as either an independent or for the United States Socialist Party, or whatever they call themselves. He knows that.
Gotta read a bit. Yeah.
He runs as a Democrat.
That's correct. Well, as I was saying earlier, the Democrats, when you run in a political party, you've got to be a part of that party. And Bernie Sanders is not. I mean, he's a Democratic Socialist. That's not a Democrat. So they made such a mistake back in 2016 letting him run in their party. I think they let him run even though he's not a member of the party because they figured he would attract that socialist vote. They didn't think he was going to poll so well. He's old, he's hunched over, he's kind of geeky, you know what I mean? He's not and they were using him for votes, and it's gotten out of control. They can't control him anymore. And now, AOC did a big event yesterday for Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire, and she's like a rock star in Democrat circles.
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, yeah, you're right. Mayor Pete is a stalking horse. You know, they don't want Bernie now. Granted, you look at what's her name, Pocahontas, and what she believes in. Basically, she believes in the same stuff Bernie is. She is a socialist, but she doesn't admit to being a socialist like Bernie does.
Well, they don't worry about Elizabeth Warren because Elizabeth Warren is not a serious contender. You know, she was committing fraud about her ethnicity her entire adult life, and she's not a real candidate. So they're not worried about her. She's not doing well. They're worried about Bernie Sanders and AOC.
Right, and to tell you the truth, the more I see Tulsi Gabbard, now I saw her last night on
Oh yeah, I'm going to play a clip from that interview. Yeah.
They're grooming her for 2024.
Yeah. Well, you know, I saw that interview. I'm going to play a clip of it later because she's a piece of work. She looks very strange when you get up close to her. She doesn't look bad from far away, but when you get close, she's very strange looking. She's a big girl too, you know. But anyway, I mean tall. She's like big, tall girl. But you know, Elizabeth Warren's out. But what I wonder, when they steal this from Bernie Sanders, they said, well, they bought him off last time. You know, well, maybe, and they'll do it again. Well, last time they didn't have AOC. And when this is stolen from Bernie Sanders, I'm very curious to see how AOC reacts because she's been campaigning for him all over the country. Everywhere he goes, she goes. She was in New Hampshire yesterday. She was in Iowa before, and she brought him victory in Iowa that they stole. So if they continue to steal this from Bernie Sanders, do you think that AOC is just going to be like, okay? And I don't think so. I think she's someone they cannot control, and I think she's going to be outraged if they steal this from Bernie Sanders, which is what they're planning on doing.
Well, if she better watch herself, because I'm understanding they're going to try and primary her. You know.
Well, we'll see. She's such a huge star in Democrat circles. I don't know how she is in her district right now, but she's a star everywhere else. But if Bernie Sanders has this stolen from him, I don't see AOC just accepting it. I see her being very vocal about what the Democrats did. She's been very critical of Pelosi and the Democrats, and she's been in Congress.
Right, and I don't think the Democrats, the only person that possibly would have the money to buy him off again would be Bloomberg. You know?
I don't know how much it takes to buy Bernie Sanders off. I don't know. See, he probably figures at his age, this is his last run. So if he's going to be bought off, this is going to be his last time to really cash in. So it'll take more than last time. All right, Mike in Louisiana. Appreciate the call. Richie the bus driver, you're on the radio.
Yeah, I hope this isn't a short one because I got a lot to say. First of all, the Democrats are boxed in totally. You just have to listen to Carville, okay? The 75-year-old ranting. The fact of the matter is that Bernie Sanders is a cult, and I analyze the reason he's a cult has to do a lot with Saturday Night Live. He's a character, and these young people are so enthused. You ever see Saturday Night Live with the guy that does the Bernie?
Oh, yeah, from Curb Your Enthusiasm, yeah.
And they make a big, so he's like a character. And these young people don't realize what socialism is. It's a cult. Carville said it's a damn cult. He believes in open. He believes in in other words, nobody who gets arrested goes to jail. They don't have to pay bail. He believes voting inside prisons, open borders, Medicare for all, paid off college. This guy is nuts. So the bottom line is that they are so boxed in, the Democrats, because they have nobody with enthusiasm. And if they lose Bernie, and Bernie will be bought off because he can't run as.
So so when Bernie Sanders is bought off or has the election stolen, do you think what does AOC do? Does she just say okay, or does she go out publicly and attack them?
He might get bought off, but his followers won't get bought off. They will rebel, and they will.
That's right. And you know what? They're going to be led by her. And, you know, Trump tweeted yesterday, something I've been talking about for a while, that AOC is thinking of running against Schumer for the Senate seat in New York. And what they're going to find is she's old enough for the Senate now. You have to be 30 to run for Senate, 25 for House, and she's 30 now. What you're going to find, if they steal this from Bernie or they buy him off, AOC is going to flip out. She's going to rally the Bernie people and mount a primary run against Charles Schumer for the Senate seat in New York, and it's going to be a huge battle inside the Democrat Party. And big people.
Today in New Hampshire, by the way,
I did not.
you know who's leading the poll?
Donald Trump.
No.
Oh yeah. He won that that little town write-in vote thing that they always monitor. Yeah.
The bottom line is, I believe that Bloomberg will be the nominee and Robichaud will be the vice presidential candidate.
Those are very good picks. Those are very, very good picks.
Only moderate, and she comes from Minnesota. They need geographical allies, you know.
Yeah.
Midwest, Minnesota.
Yep.
He is the only one on that stage right now that has any recognition with a clear head. And the little guy is too polished, too robotic, and it's so obvious that he's never going to make it. Buttigieg, it's a wasted vote. And you're exactly right. They are pulling the votes from Bernie because the young people. I don't understand these young people. Don't they read books?
Well, Charlie Kirk. I heard Charlie Kirk talking about this the other day on Twitter. That they have done in the colleges, they have done such a brainwashing job over the last 30 years that young people that support socialism don't really know what socialism is. They're the post-Soviet Union era of people, and they don't know what it is. They think it's something else.
Bernie said, see, tapes of what Bernie said over the last 30 years. He's got a record. He's for Cuba. He loved the communist revolution.
That's right.
Now he's talking Denmark, okay? But he loved Cuba. I mean, this guy is a nut job.
Yeah. That's right. It's when you look at Venezuela is the modern textbook example of what happens when you have a socialist government. And Venezuela is a member of OPEC. Who would think that a member of OPEC would be in such chaos?
Point the people out there, because you're a history major, okay? The Constitution says we the people, and socialism is we the government. And that's the difference. The government takes care of you instead of you taking care of yourself.
Well, that's right. Well, they don't listen. When you look at the millennial generation, you're looking at a generation that moves out of their parents' house at a later age than any generation before. And they're so used to mommy and daddy taking care of them. They're 25, 30 years old. Mom and dad are still paying their car insurance and cell phone bills. And they don't have, you and I were married at these ages on our own. They don't, you've been to war and back, right? But they have no sense of taking care of themselves whatsoever. They never have.
The biggest thing that I saw that Obama did to destroy and he was smart. I mean, the guy was so super smart. He hoodwinked the young people by keeping them on their parents' health care till they were 20.
That's right. It's crazy. Keeping them at home. What he did was he increased the number of youth because people growing up later, right? They're staying at home, living off mommy and daddy until they're 26 years old. And then they're all of us, me, at 18, I'm out, but now at 26.
This man used to come to my house, okay, the Metropolitan and all this. When I turned 18, my father said, "You're on your own, pal. You get."
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'll tell you, ever have your tonsils out? Yeah, I had my tonsils out when I was 18 because on my 19th birthday, I was no longer covered under my mother's employee health insurance, and I had tonsillitis, and I got them out like 2 weeks before I was no longer, because I was going to be on my own after that. You know what I mean? And but that's this generation, they're not growing up. They're sitting at home until they're. I hate it. I go through my neighborhood and there's 6 cars in front of every house because the kids aren't growing up and they got their girlfriends living there. They got 2 more. You know what I'm talking about? I think a lot of people I cannot believe it's one thing for girls. It's okay for a girl to live at home until she's married. But young guys in their 20s, I couldn't wait to get out.
You have 1 minute to tell you a great story.
Real quick, because I'm late for a break already.
My mother, may she rest in peace, I had gone through a divorce. It was the first Saturday night I went out with my friend, and we were out. And I show up at the house at 7 in the morning. My ex-wife and I kept my house in Pembroke Pines. I went back to my mother's apartment, okay? And I said, I got to stay here till the divorce is finalized because I still have to pay the mortgage on the house. Make a long story short, I walked in and she was doing the dishes at 7 o'clock in the morning, and she had a face on her and she wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah, that's right. She's like, get out. Yeah, it's not going to... All right, it's true. It's true. It's true. All right, Richie, appreciate the call. Got to run for a break. Take care. Richie, the bus driver. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour, all right? We'll be back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Back right after this.
Attention homeowners, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm here to cut your electric bill and save you a lot of money. Perhaps even eliminate your electric bill altogether. We do this by making your entire home energy efficient, by upgrading some or all of the following: roofs, doors, windows, insulating your attic, AC systems and ducts, hot water heaters, and even adding solar. Energy efficient improvements that actually pay for themselves over a short period of time. Our program is designed to make the savings on your electric bill pay for all or part of your low monthly payments. The PACE program is government sponsored and gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification, and no payments for up to 18 months. You only need to be current on your mortgage and taxes for the last 3 years to qualify. Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 to start saving money now.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all
Subscribe,
the
everyone, all right?
Goodyear
I am...
and Firestone at discount prices.
Let me see where I'm at now.
Can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van.
I'm almost to 4,000 subs. I am 21. I'm 21 subscribers away from 4,000 on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Get all your friends to subscribe. 21 subs away from 4,000. Oh, sorry, I just belched. So if you could get me to 4,000 today, it'd make my day like spectacular. I've been trying to get to 4,000 for a while. So subscribe if you're not. If you have other accounts, subscribe on all of them. Get your spouses, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, husbands, wives. Get them all to subscribe. All your Facebook friends, get them to subscribe.
977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
That's right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Now, if you want to know what's going on with President Trump, thegatewaypundit.com has all the best news and information about what's going on with President Trump. Thegatewaypundit.com. I go there several times a day, and you get everything. President Trump is cleaning house. He fired Vindman. He fired Vindman's brother, and he's doing a lot of other firings, too. I saw a story this morning. Reports have come out of the White House that some members of the White House staff were cheering when the Vindmans were escorted off the property of the White House. Can you imagine? You know, the Vindmans were born in Ukraine when Ukraine was one of the Soviet Socialist republics. That's right. That's right. Now listen to this. Oh, this is great. This is great. Gateway Pundit headline, President Trump is cleaning house. Anonymous author who penned New York Times resistance op-ed has been identified and will be fired this week. According to former U.S. Attorney Joe DeGenova, the White House has identified the anonymous author who penned the anti-Trump New York Times resistance hit piece and tell-all book. DeGenova said the anonymous resistor will depart the White House this week as President Trump continues to clean house and drain the swamp. The author of the New York Times Resistance op-ed also penned an anti-Trump tell-all book titled A Warning, an unprecedented behind-the-scenes portrait of the Trump presidency from the anonymous senior official whose first words of warning about the president rocked the nation's capital, says the book's description. The book became available for purchase in November. The Department of Justice got to work immediately identifying the author. So the anonymous author will be fired this week. This is also in the Gateway Pundit. Listen to this. On Friday, anti-Trump Army Lieutenant Colonel Vindman was escorted off White House grounds and dismissed from the National Security Council. His twin brother, Army Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, too, who served as a lawyer on the National Security Council, was also fired with his twin brother. There were also unofficial reports that White House staffers stood up and cheered as the Vindman brothers were escorted from the White House. Whew. But, reports the Gateway Pundit, President Trump is not done yet. There are reports that dozens more may be removed this week. There are reports that Intelligence Committee Inspector General Michael Atkinson may also be asked to leave this week. Ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, David Nunes, told investigative reporter Sarah Carter that Republicans are currently investigating Intel Community Inspector General Michael Atkinson. GOP lawmakers asked Atkinson to reveal who changed the whistleblower complaint form to allow for secondhand info and office gossip. Remember that? Atkinson's secret basement testimony during the sham impeachment proceedings was so devastating to Democrats that Adam Schiff still refuses to release the transcript to the public. Washington Post reporting, the president and his advisors have also discussed removing Michael Atkinson, the Inspector General of the intelligence community. Though no final decision has been made, officials said, President Trump has expressed frustration that Atkinson allowed a whistleblower report documenting Trump's alleged misconduct towards Ukraine to be transmitted to Congress. Some advisors have also counseled the president to remove Victoria Coates, the Deputy National Security Advisor, who has told others in the White House that she fears her job is in jeopardy. Well, what did she do? Let me see if it says here. Hold on. I lost my place in the article. I'm so excited. Let's see here. Oh, they don't tell us what she's on the firing list for. But President Trump, he's been acquitted, and he's in another 100-day period. Cleaning house, man. He's cleaning house. He's draining the swamp like crazy since the acquittal. And that, this should have been done a long time ago. But, President Trump is a very patient man. You, me, these people would have been fired a long time ago, and there've been all kinds of hell to pay. He waited, and, when the acquittal happened in the Senate, that was the official end of the coup. Do you understand that? The impeachment trial was the last-ditch effort of the coup conspirators. The coup started during the campaign, actually, with the FISA warrants. They had Mueller, they had Stormy Daniels, they had the Schiff and Nadler hearings, then they had the impeachment trial. And the coup has officially been defeated with the acquittal of President Trump, finally. Took 3 years plus, right? Well, maybe, a little more than 3 years. I guess 3 years and a month. And the coup has finally been defeated. And what he's doing is firing the coup conspirators. And the ones inside the government that he's fighting, they're not the leaders of the coup. They're the soldiers in the coup. But he's firing the coup conspirators. And you know what I wonder about all of these people? Are they losing their security clearances? Like the Vindmans, have they lost their security clearance? They should. I know some people are talking about court-martialing Vindman. Yeah. So this is great news. And I will officially, I don't know if anybody else has said this yet, but I'm going to mark officially the acquittal of the president and the sham impeachment trial in the Senate as the official end of the coup. That's the day that President Trump defeated the coup conspirators, won, ended the coup, and now, boom. It's like Game of Thrones up there. I mean, this political intrigue. Okay, 1 hour down, 2 to go. Less than 2, because it's 1 minute after 7. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. We'll take our break and be right back. Don't you go anywhere.
3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Denture wearers, are messy adhesives ruining the taste of your food? Is it painful for you to eat? Does the constant denture movement affect your speech? Are you always worried that your dentures will fall out while you're talking or laughing? Do you have sore spots? You are not alone. These are common problems that can be solved simply with dental implants. This is Steve Kane, and I want to introduce you to Brighton Dental Care, where the Kane
Welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe. Almost to 4,000 subs.
To stop you from
I'm getting excited.
eat the foods you love again and live in comfort. That's why, for Steve Kane listeners, they're offering implants. Get this, for just $3,500. That includes 2 implants plus a lower denture.
21 away from 4,000.
They're going to charge you $6,000.
I am never on Periscope, Greg. I'm mostly just YouTube. On occasion, I'll do an Instagram live, if you follow me on Instagram. But on Periscope, I deleted all my videos and deleted the app off my devices.
4633 954 922 4633 and online at brightondentalcare.com. Be sure to ask about special discounts for our military veterans.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone?
Good morning,
if you
Dan
die?
Duncan.
The new life insurance policies allow you to access your benefits even while you were still alive. Due to changes in the insurance industry, all life insurance carriers in 2020 have adjusted their premiums to your advantage. Life insurance rates have been lowered due to the updated mortality tables. People
Periscope is
are
the dark web,
That
man.
means
It's
life
just
insurance premiums
scummy
are lower. Call Debbie
and disgusting.
Dan at I Will Advisors 954-753-8080 to learn more and for
my daughter is African American. That's correct.
954-753-8080.
I do. My daughter is black. He's trying to attack me. He doesn't know. Jeez. Sorry, I don't fit the stereotype of a white Trump guy. My daughter is black.
Save you a lot of money. Perhaps even eliminate your
Cracks me up.
altogether. We do this by making
Cracks
your
me up.
entire home energy efficient by upgrading some or all of
Liberals
the
try to
roofs,
put this stereotype
doors,
on white Trump
windows,
people.
insulating your attic, AC systems and ducts, hot water heaters, and even adding
Pretty funny, isn't it?
energy efficient improvements that actually pay for themselves.
Even said it in all caps, you
Our
know.
program is designed to make the savings on your electric bill pay for all or part of your low monthly payments. The PACE program is government sponsored.
It is trash.
Gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification, no payments for up to 18 months. You only need to be current on your mortgage and taxes for the last 3 years to qualify. Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 to start saving money now.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust,
All right, we're coming back.
he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino.
Another person sent me a message on DM. Why don't I wear headphones? Because when I first started in radio, I kept meeting all these DJs who were deaf from wearing headphones, and I thought it was just music radio. And then I went out to dinner with Steve. Took me out to dinner with Bob Grant. He was completely deaf, and he just did talk. So I stopped wearing headphones because I'm already hard of hearing. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Hour number 2 has begun. Welcome, welcome. It's Tuesday morning. Exciting stuff. Oh man, exciting stuff. Did you guys catch the Trump rally last night? I played this in the top of the show at 6. I got to play it again. This was spectacular. President Trump had a very historic rally in New Hampshire last night. It wasn't the content. It was that he actually had a rally in New Hampshire on the eve of the Democrat New Hampshire primary that they're trying to steal from Bernie Sanders. And ABC News, which hates Trump. I mean, ABC News means always be Clinton. Always be Clinton. You know. But ABC News, liberal mainstream media, their White House reporter, Jonathan Karl, was reporting for ABC News on the crowd size at last night's Trump rally in New Hampshire. Listen to this. This is great stuff.
ABC News chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl at the president's rally rally and joins me now. Looks like a full house there right behind you. Just give us a sense of how enthused President Trump's base is, especially by his acquittal.
Lindsay, Trump supporters are as fired up as I have ever seen them. I mean, this rally is in an arena that I was at just 2 nights ago, Saturday night, at an event that included all of the major Democratic nominees, the candidates for the Democratic nomination. And we have a bigger crowd here by far just for Donald Trump than Saturday for all of the Democrats.
Did you hear that? The Democrats, all of the Democrats running in New Hampshire had a joint rally in the same venue President Trump was at last night. And President Trump alone had a larger crowd in New Hampshire than all the Democrats put together, which tells me that New Hampshire's Democrat vote turnout is going to be a record low turnout. They're going to be so discouraged. It's not just because of the Trump effect nationwide. Him having that rally in New Hampshire has a similar effect on New Hampshire that his rally at midnight in Michigan had on Michigan. Remember with the thing with Hillary, it was brilliant. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I can't get sidetracked. Now, earlier in the show, Richie the bus driver called in, and he was talking about Bloomberg being the nominee with Klobuchar as the VP. I told him that was a good pick, but a piece of audio of Bloomberg from 2015 has surfaced, and Bloomberg is not happy about this. He's tried to silence it. I'm going to play this audio for you, and it's not very good quality audio, but this is beggars can't be choosers. Bloomberg has made comments about African American people and crime that are going to end his presidential run. Now, I was talking earlier in the first hour, the Democrat Party establishment are not running to field a candidate to beat Trump. That's not what they're doing here. They're trying to, number one, first and foremost, stop their party from having a socialist win the nomination, Bernie Sanders, because they'll officially be a socialist party then. And also, they're trying to get Bloomberg out of the race as well. And this piece of audio, I did tweet this. You can find it on my Twitter. You can look it up online on your own if you want. If you find it online, there's subtitles for it. But I'll tell you what he says. I'm going to play. I don't care about the audio quality. Bloomberg has tried to destroy this audio. He's talking about stop and frisk, crime, and African Americans in New York City. This is the audio that Bloomberg did not want the voting public to hear.
25% of your murderers, and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 15 to 25. That's true in New York, it's true in virtually every city.
See, what he said was, and I'll go back, he says when you're looking at the violent crimes in New York City, including, murder, you can take the description and Xerox it and hand it out to the cops. It's all the same. Black males are committing all the violent crime in New York. All right, that's what he's talking about here.
25% of your murderers, and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 15 to 25. That's true in New York, it's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people getting killed.
So he says you got to get the hands out of the, you got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that are doing the killing, which he just said were black people, young black men, 15 to 21.
She's going to want to spend the money for a lot of cops in the street, put those cops where the crime is, which means in minority neighborhoods. So one of the unintended consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana, they're all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in minority neighborhoods.
Wow, did you hear that? Now again, I apologize for the sound quality. I don't care. This has got to be played online, and I'll talk about the truth, if it's truthful or not, in a minute. Online, when you watch the video, there's subtitles, okay? He tried to silence this tape, and the poor sound quality is because Bloomberg tried to have this tape destroyed and didn't want people to hear it and see it, okay? And he said, Let me go back a little bit. He's saying people are saying that you're arresting these young kids for marijuana possession.
Intended consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana, they're all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in minority neighborhoods.
So, again, this is 2015. He's mayor. He says we're putting all the cops in minority neighborhoods, which is code for black.
That's true. Why we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them against the wall and frisk them. Because then they say, oh, I don't want to get caught, so they don't bring the gun. They still have a gun, but they leave it at home.
And then at the end, he says you just put them up against the wall and frisk them. Stop and frisk. And then they'll stop bringing the guns. Okay, now, as conservatives, you might say, well, he's making a lot of good points there. And stop and frisk did reduce violent crime in the city of New York. But his audience is not a conservative audience. Bloomberg is out there trying to get the vote of Democrats. And while he may be in Hockeytown, Iowa, or Hockeytown, New Hampshire, once he gets to South Carolina with a large black Democrat vote, now this audio, whoever recorded it secretly, that's why the audio quality is not that great. But don't worry, they got video all over the internet with subtitles, which will make its way to television if it is not already. This will be on television soon. Bloomberg is going to be out of the race in South Carolina. There is going to be a major uprising of Democrat African American voters when this audio with the attached video with subtitles starts making its way all over the internet and television. Bloomberg's done. And you know they don't want him there. They don't like these donors making their way into public office. The politicians hate the donors. You know, they're Speaker of the House. They're a United States Senator, and they got to go to these donors because they're rich and suck up to them. They despise donors. They hate them like the plague. And they don't want these donors making their way into politics. That's how they view Trump as a donor. So Bloomberg is done. And this is, you heard it here first, and this is the beginning of it. This audio that he tried to destroy and not have made public. This poor audio quality did survive and is making the rounds, but that's okay, because when that video goes out there with the subtitles, when you're reading the subtitles, your brain makes you think you can hear what's being said a little more clearer. But yeah, Bloomberg is done, and he's done because of that, and it's really going to happen in South Carolina. That's when it'll be the beginning of the end for Bloomberg because of that. And I'm sure there's many other things he said similar to that are going to make their way out there too. So this is, oh man. Who the nominee will be for the Democrats, Mitt Romney, I don't know at this point. I don't know. But it's not going to be Bloomberg. It's not going to be Bernie. It's not going to be Mayor Pete. And Biden's on his way out too. It's not going to be these players that were here, that are the so-called leaders right now in the first 4 or 5 places. It's not going to be any of them. Oh, man, this is so exciting. So exciting. You know, I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez, at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. You know, Dr. Matez has been in the anti-aging specialty, oh, man, it's had to be about 15 years here in South Florida. He brought hormone replacement pellet therapy to South Florida. I'm a patient of Dr. Mitch Matez. I use hormone replacement pellet therapy, and you should too. Hormone replacement pellets are tiny little pellets under the skin in your hip, completely painless. You don't even know they're there. And once you start hormone replacement pellet therapy, your hormone levels will be restored to where they were in your mid-20s. It will increase your sex drive, give you back your ability to have sex. If you're a man suffering from erectile dysfunction, hormone replacement pellet therapy will reverse that problem. You'll be able to get and maintain an erection on demand. Your energy level, oh man, I have never been as energetic in my life as I've been with hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez. Hormones are restored to where they were when I was in my mid-20s, but when I was in my mid-20s, I was eating at McDonald's and Taco Bell every day. And I was partying and having a good time and, and drinking and everything else. And, now when you're a little older, you take better care of yourself, you eat better and things like this. So, you put your energy or your hormone levels back where they were when you were in your mid-20s, and you take better care of yourself anyway, and you're not partying and drinking. like when you're younger, you will feel, I feel better than I did when I was 25, far better. I got to tell you, and I have more energy, that's for sure. So if you want to look and feel like you did when you were young, call Dr. Mitch Matez. Talk to him about hormone replacement, pellet therapy. Make an appointment with him. It's a completely no-charge obligation, right? No charge. You know, these consultations he charges other people for, but not Steve KANE listeners. If you're a listener to the Steve KANE Show, for men and women, it's a completely free consultation. And of course, in women, you get all these great benefits, and your menopause not only is stopped in its tracks, but reversed. The mood swings, the night sweats, vaginal dryness, loss of sex drive, totally reversed, women. And in both men and women, if you're suffering from hair loss stopped. Boom. Dead in its tracks. And the hair you have left will grow back thicker and fuller than it did before. Call Dr. Mitch Matez for that free consultation. 561-953-5490. Mention the Steve KANE Show so you get that free consultation. 561-953-5490. And online, hormone therapy, BocaRaton.com. That's Dr. Mitch Matez. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Steve Kane, I'm here chatting with Dr. Troy Lemaski, my personal chiropractor. Dr. Troy, how are you today?
You're right back.
Doing well, Steve.
Chiropractic is an art. All the nerves in your body go through your spine. If your spine's out of line, the nerves get pinched, and of course you're going to have all kinds of symptoms and all kinds of pain as a result of that. And until you get that spine realigned, you're going to be in pain.
100% correct. If you have a joint, especially in your back, that's stuck, that's not moving properly, it will put pressure not only possibly on nerves, but more of the time on soft tissue structures such as the ligaments, the muscles, and it will create pressure. There are nerves within the joint called mechanoreceptors, and they will affect the actual nerves that are in the joint. Pinched nerves are very common, and they do come from spinal misalignments, but not everybody that has a problem has a pinched nerve.
I've been seeing you for a relatively short period of time, and you have the healing touch, I'll tell you that. When I walk out of your office, I feel like a whole new person. I know you take great care of everybody, but I know you're going to go that extra mile for our wonderful Steve KANE listeners. Doctor, give them the number of the office where they can make an appointment.
It's Coast Chiropractic Injury and Wellness Center, and the phone number is 954-463-3036. 954-463-3036. We're located in East Fort Lauderdale. We're just one block east of US 1 and Oakland Park Boulevard, right off Middle River Drive. The address is 2510 East Oakland Park Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale.
Dr. Troy Lemaski, a great healer. Make an appointment today. If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to one pair of quality diabetic shoes.
Oh man, just 20 away from 4,000 subs on YouTube.
954-597-7060.
Listen to the
I did, yeah.
Show on iHeartRadio.
Got my...
Just search for www.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve KANE Show. Before I get back into the audio sound bites, I got to tell you, you know, I've gotten recently addicted to Starbucks, courtesy of my daughter. My daughter took me to Starbucks, and I love coffee, and I'm like hooked on it. And, you know, Starbucks gets all of this negative publicity that is earned, I got to tell you. And I had a run-in with a Starbucks employee, my wife and I did, a few months back. You know, my wife and I are always vlogging and live streaming, you know. And we were vlogging ourselves while we were at Starbucks, and the manager approached us and said, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And we told them, and she says, "Well, this is what the manager of Starbucks told me. We're uncomfortable with you doing that here." I've never heard of employers complaining of being uncomfortable around paying customers. It's crazy, isn't it? That's the millennial generation. That's the millennial generation. And you've heard these stories about Starbucks being very liberal, not serving cops, and calling the cops on black people, and things like this. They don't like minorities using their bathroom like the Democrats of yesteryear. Right? Well, I have noticed there has been a major change in tone at Starbucks. I went inside Starbucks this morning, and they had 3-4 employees working in there, you know, and not only were they pleasant, each one of the employees said, "Have a great day, Brian. Good. Hey, have a good morning, Brian." Because they ask you for your drink to put on your cup, so they all knew my name. There is a big. I don't know if you've all noticed this in your Starbucks, but I go to Starbucks not every day, but a few times a week, and I have noticed in the last month or so a major change in the tone of Starbucks. So the Starbucks Corporation, I think, has heard this is a Trump nation. And if you go around insulting all the Trump people and your rude, nasty snowflake millennials in there, there's been a change. I've just noticed. I don't know if any of you have noticed this. Okay, now, the Democrat Party, they hate the internet. That's why the Democrats want to regulate speech on the internet, because they hate it so much, because they can't control the message. And that thing with Bloomberg that's taking off all over the place. ABC's Carl Cameron reporting that Trump alone had more people in the same venue as every Democrat combined on Saturday night. On a weekend, they couldn't he did that during the week, and boom, had this huge crowd. And that might have made a mistake on ABC, and they had some honest reporting, but it's going viral on Twitter and everywhere else. The Democrats can't control the message. And these things they say and do that the media wouldn't share before, unless it was live and then they never rebroadcast it, because of the internet, are making their way everywhere. Did you see this video? If you've not seen this, you will, because it's making the rounds online. Did you see this video of Pelosi talking to the media about the wrap-up smear? Oh, my goodness. I'm going to play it for you. This is Pelosi. She's at the podium for the press briefing in the House briefing room, and she's talking to the members of the media about what she refers to as the wrap-up smear. And it will sound familiar when I play this to you, because it's what she and Pizza the Hut and Adam Schiff just did to our president. Listen to this.
We call it the wrap-up smear. You want to talk politics? Call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and if they see it's reported in the press that this, and this, so they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
It's a tactic. It's otherwise known. To sum it up, it's called slander. Okay, they have this technical term for it, and then she goes, "It's slander." Now, she said that to the entire press corps. Have you seen that? No. And it also shows how the media are working with the Democrats to promote their slanders. It's how they get their narrative going. But even though she said that to the entire press corps in the House briefing room, it's nowhere, but it's online. It went out live during the briefing, if you're watching the briefing live, but they don't follow up on it, and it's buried in the long discussion, and it's history, gone. Never hear of it again. But because of the internet, it's going to be all, and you'll see this, I would hope you'll see this on Fox or Fox Business today. But that's exactly what they did with Trump, right? They got a narrative going, they get the press to report it, and then once the press reports it has credibility of being true, it's a tactic. It's called the wrap-up smear.
We call it the wrap-up smear. You want to talk politics? Call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and if they see it's reported in the press that this, and this, so they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
It's a tactic. Man, if I were a Democrat, forgetting about agreeing with them on this issue. Well, I agree with the Democrats on border security and choice, but look at how they operate. She's bragging about how they slander someone and use it to destroy their character for political gain. Do you want to be a party to? Well, maybe you do, but I wouldn't want to be a party to that. If I heard a Republican talk about the wrap-up smear and act as if it's a legitimate form of politicking, I wouldn't want anything to do with that person. That's beyond, oh, that's politics. No, that's not politics. It's slander, and it's wrong. And it's how they promote their false narratives. And the wrap-up smear, that's what they did with the whole Russia narrative. Complete lie. You make it up. You smear someone. You get the press to report it, and then you run with that smear. You merchandise it. And then, look, you get the president impeached. That's what the Democrats do. But I'll tell you, the Democrats are in more trouble than you realize. I mean, if you watch the media, the mainstream media, you can pick up a little thing here and a little thing there. But among Democrats, because I know if you watch CNN and a little bit of MSNBC, there's a panic going on in Democrat circles. And the panic is that not only are they going to lose this election, their party as they know it is gone. And the Democrat Party stands for nothing right now, other than defeating Trump, and they've lost that. And whether or not they're going to be able to get a coherent party together after the election is up for question, because, you know, Kevin McCarthy's out there talking like he's the Speaker of the House already. And, you know, all this talk about how incoherent and stupid Biden is Pelosi any better? You know, her tearing up of the State of the Union speech last night, she's going to tell herself for the rest of her life that that was the greatest moment for her as Speaker, when she stood up. That was the beginning of the end for her and the Democrat Party. I'm so glad she did it. And the way she did it, it was so stupid, because she was in such a rage. She didn't think about what that meant. She's tearing up the Tuskegee Airmen. She's tearing up the little girl with the scholarship, right, from the failing school. She's tearing up the names of the parents who lost their girl who was the slave of ISIS. She's tearing up the name of the serviceman who died in combat, whose little boy and widow were there crying. She didn't think about it. And it was one of the biggest screw-ups in modern political history. And we saw it live on the State of the Union. She's going to tell you this was the greatest moment as Speaker when she's no longer Speaker. But that's what firmed up her no longer being the Speaker. Even if the Democrats maintain control, she's going to have to go. I mean, she's a train wreck. She's tripping over herself each and every day. Now, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. I've got some more audio to talk about, some more stories to touch on, and much more. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show. That's right, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll take our break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I had two ball ties in the back of my Infiniti, so I called them up, and I feel like I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
Half the price, and not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I was looking at, had any mileage guarantee. His is 60,000 mile warranty. So wow. They're not only half the price, the price is good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
That's right. That's right. Listen, give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. His number, 954-977-9445. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net, or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekaneshow.com, 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
President Trump here. Join Steve Kane and Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise on board the Celebrity Edge. The cruise will be to celebrate my re-election. Don't be a loser, be a winner, just like me. And join Steve Kane and Brian Craig on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise.
Thank you, Mr. President. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, celebrating the victory of President Trump as we sail December 6th out of Fort Lauderdale on a 7-day Trump 2020 Victory Cruise. First stop, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Second stop, Tortola, British Virgin Islands, and then St. Martin. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779, and join us celebrating the re-election of President Trump, 561-244-5779.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices in South Florida, including downtown Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, we are back. We're back. Yeah, so President Trump, massive rally. ABC News reporting President Trump had more people just for him on a weeknight than every Democrat running in New Hampshire had together at the same venue Saturday night on a weekend. And, of course, they're telling us the front runner is Buttigieg, when we all know it's Bernie Sanders and it's being stolen from him. Now, how many thousands did President Trump have last night? Plus, you know, the overflow area had an overflow. There was an overflow for President Trump last night. I'm not kidding. Did you see that? There was an overflow for the overflow. Never heard of such a thing. I know. Listen to this. Breitbart. Former Mayor Pete Buttigieg, remember their front runner is now unemployed. Pete Buttigieg. Former Mayor Pete Buttigieg drew over 1,000 voters to a campaign rally on Sunday. Wow. And now they're saying momentum's on their side. The campaign announced 1,824 people were at their Buttigieg rally, the largest for any Democrat in New Hampshire in the primary cycle. I'm looking at the picture. They have a picture here. It's on the Twitter, and it's a high school gym. It's a high school gym. And do you know what I'm seeing in the high school gym? I'm seeing basketball court. There's a crowd. Oh, yeah, don't misunderstand me. There's people on one side of the stand. This picture is taken, and you're looking across the court. So the stands that the guy's looking at are full. Some of the floor is full, but I'm seeing a lot of floor space. So I don't know. What I would like to know is, what is the capacity for that high school basketball gym? Is it 1,824, and they're saying that they reach capacity? I don't know, but if Trump were in a high school basketball court, I wouldn't be seeing court, and I'm looking at court. There's empty floor space. And in the back, I'm seeing cameramen. So this guy's back with the press. So their front runner that they're doing victory laps about, the unemployed former Mayor Pete, he can't fill up a high school basketball gym, all right, basketball court. He can't fill up a high school basketball court. That's the story, Breitbart. Conservative Doug, how you doing?
Morning. You know, I had an argument with some Democrats, and I said, nobody shows up to your rally. Well, we just vote. I said, yeah, nobody's showing up this time because there's nobody worth voting for. We're all going to be switching over to Trump. The economy's doing great. You guys have done. I've been saying for 2 years that it's the Whig Party ready to disappear. These guys are done, I think.
Yeah.
Don't have a prayer.
I would say when their front runner can't fill up a high school basketball court, I would say they're in trouble.
Instead of Trump, it's ridiculous.
Well, if you're a successful mayor of New York City, which is a bigger job than being governor of a whole bunch of our states, that's one thing. But to use a South Florida reference that people in South Florida would get, being mayor of South Bend is like being the mayor of the city of Sunrise or the city of Tamarack. Very small.
Exactly. Nobody wants these guys. But, the Democrats that are remaining will probably still vote, and it'll probably be a decent turnout, I would think. But they haven't switched everybody over yet. But I certainly think that it's going to be a landslide for Trump, and hopefully we'll get the...
There is no way that the Democrat vote in New Hampshire is not going to be lower than expectations today. That rally last night with Trump had to really discourage... here's the thing in primaries. Primaries work like this. All of a sudden, you have a front runner, and then they start winning state after state. And the reason that candidates win state after state and they gain momentum is after they've won a couple things, primary voters don't want to waste their time and go vote for a loser. So they'll vote for the perceived front runner so that their vote won't be wasted. That's how when somebody wins a couple of these early primaries, they go on and have a sweep. When Trump had his historic rally in New Hampshire on the eve of the Democrat New Hampshire primary, if I were a Democrat, I would be like, what's the point? I mean, it's cold in New Hampshire, it's ice and sleet, and I got work. I don't have time to vote today. I wouldn't bother probably if I were a Democrat. And I think a lot of Democrats in New Hampshire are going to feel that. I mean, Trump had he had overflow for the overflow. That's in every news outlet in New Hampshire this morning. So if you're a Democrat voter, how do you feel this morning? Do you feel good?
I think they're not feeling too good. I'm hoping that they're having a lot of kids and they're just saying, this is a waste, but we still have to do what we have to do.
Yeah.
The election will shut them up and finally...
Well, Trump did something very smart last night. He was asking his people to vote Democrat in this New Hampshire primary to the biggest loser. So whoever wins the New Hampshire primary, Trump's going to take credit for it because he was encouraging his supporters to vote. You know what I mean? He's going to take credit for whoever wins in New Hampshire today.
And this slander thing you mentioned, isn't slander something that you get sued for? I remember, I think you get sued for slander. What a terrible thing to do to somebody slandered him.
Yeah. Well, no, it's called the wrap-up smear. It is a smear. She calls it a smear, but it's the wrap-up. I mean, how stupid is she to go out on... Well, she thinks the press are in bed with her so that they won't question her. You know what I mean? She can talk freely to the press because they won't report it, is what she figures.
Think she's talking out of her head, or you think somebody's telling her what to say?
Well, I think she's talking about a strategy that she's in charge of as the speaker. She's the leader of the Democrat Party as the Speaker of the House. She's the highest-ranking Democrat in office. And she said it's a tactic that she employs. And they obviously used it, the Russian smear, on President Trump. Then the Ukrainian phone call smear.
What a crew, and letting her run. I don't know, man. She's less than, I think she's less than Biden. She is.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, that I had it yesterday for that girl that Joe Biden said was ugly, called her dog face. She's out there doing interviews now about how offended she was about being called ugly by the vice president. He called her dog face.
There are a bunch of strange people. I don't know.
Well, Democrats, if you tell a woman she's attractive, that's sexist to these millennials. Oh, how can you comment on a woman's beauty? You got to talk about what's on the inside. So you call a woman ugly like he did. He called her dog face. Dog face.
The thing that they say, if a politician sees an ugly baby, he doesn't say anything. He just says, "Oh, now that's a baby."
Yeah, not Biden.
They'd be nasty.
Yeah. Well, at least she doesn't have to worry about Biden sniffing her hair in a photo op. But I think she was a plant. Because she really set him up in that discussion. It was an attack. Do you agree with me though that they're using Mayor Pete in these early white primary states to try to get Bernie out of the running? They're going to drop him after Bernie's out.
think they're doing anything they can to get Bernie out. They hate Bernie. I don't know. I think he's the only one that's not what they like. And other than that, they'll let anybody get in.
Well, the main purpose of the Democrats right now is to stop a socialist from winning the nomination, because the party will officially be a socialist party. I know a lot of people say it already is. It will. That's unofficial. It will officially be a socialist party if he wins the nomination. The party will go through an immediate transformation of power and brand. And they're using Pete in these very white Democrat states to try to get Bernie out.
They don't want Bernie in because he's not follow what Pelosi says kind of guy. He wants to do what he wants to do. And they don't like that. They want somebody who's going to follow every word they say.
Yeah. All right, Conservative Doug, thanks for the call. All right, thanks so much. Yeah, you hear Conservative Doug on one of our Friendly Tire commercials. Yeah, and let me play a couple of these things. This was after the Democrat debate the other night. This was Chris Matthews.
The issue of this campaign, it is that word socialism. Some people like it. Younger people like it. Those of us like me who grew up in the Cold War and saw some aspects of it after visiting places like Vietnam, like I have, and seeing countries like Cuba being there, I've seen what socialism is like. I don't like it. Okay? It's not only not free, it doesn't frickin' work.
Okay, so that was after the debate, and what prompted that discussion during the debate last week is they asked the candidates if they would be opposed to having a socialist at the top of the ticket as the nominee. And I think only Klobuchar said, yes, that would be a problem for her, but everybody else was okay with that, so he had a meltdown. And CNN, you really got to watch CNN and MSNBC these days. I know it's difficult for a lot of you to watch all these liberal jerks on the Clinton News Network and MS-13BC. I get all of that. But there is a battle inside the Democrat Party that is so fun to watch. This is CNN. They're talking about Iowa. They're talking about New Hampshire. And this is one of their black political commentators on CNN giving analysis to what's going on with the rise of Mayor Pete. And they're not happy. Listen.
One of the whitest states in the country, 91% white should not have this much influence, and Democrats will go from one of the whitest states, Iowa, to New Hampshire, one of the other whitest states. And I'll say something about Buttigieg and Sanders. We still won't know who really the Democratic frontrunner is until Nevada and South Carolina. That's absolutely right. People of color are the base of the Democratic Party.
You can't win the Democratic nomination without at least a plurality of African American votes.
And also, and it's a multicultural coalition, right? A white majority hasn't gone for a Democrat since the Jurassic Age. I think Obama and Clinton only got 38%. You need people of color. One of the whitest states in the country.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, so once they get to South Carolina, see, you know, what's going on here and what that anger is about is that there's no diversity in what is left of the Democrat field. It's all white, unless you want to count Elizabeth Warren as a Native American, and she doesn't even count herself as that anymore. It's all white. They had 2 black senators running. They're out. They got Andrew Yang. He's Asian. He's not even allowed in these situations. So it's all white. And they're pretty pissed about it. And the perceived frontrunner right now, or the presumed frontrunner, is Mayor Pete, who fired the black police chief and has a history of very, very major conflicts with the black community in South Bend and Black Lives Matter. So I cannot wait until South Carolina happens, because when South Carolina happens, it's the civil war inside the Democrat Party. They're fighting against socialists. They're fighting against white people. It's going to be brutal, but you know what? It's going to be fun for us because we're on the outside watching them destroy each other. But South Carolina is going to be the big turning point. After South Carolina in the Democrat circle is when we're going to really know who the nominee is, where the party stands, and that's when we're going to start to get some resolution here. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton
Steve Kane
Dental
Show.
Care. I just had a lot of work done,
Steve
and
Kane
I
Show.
avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was
Hey,
afraid
okay,
of the
I got your
cost.
text, so you
But
want
I
to
went
try to use
Brighton
this
Dental
as
for my free
commercials,
consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities. I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom.
Okay,
If I
okay,
were a
hold on.
horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible
my mouth's a little tired.
discounts on all
Gotta
dental
stretch.
procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to
Stretching
worry
out my
about the
jaw.
cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633.
My
You
instrument.
Can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone if you die? The new life insurance policies allow you to access your benefits even while you were still alive. Due to changes in the insurance industry, all life insurance carriers in 2020 have adjusted their premiums to your advantage. Life insurance rates have been lowered due to the updated mortality tables. People are living longer in America, and that means life insurance premiums are lower. Call Debbie and Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 to learn more and for a free review of your existing life insurance policy. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. And on the line, we have Dr. Mitch Matez from the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. Dr. Matez, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brian. How you doing?
Great.
Listen, we call the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. The science behind the aging process, Brian, is exploding. I know Steve loves to ask me what's going on in the anti-aging world. We've come to a point where we can take steps to significantly improve the health and function of our cells. We're down to the cellular level here. Healthy cells make healthy tissue, make healthy organs, means a healthy body. And healthy bodies, folks, do better and live longer. That's correct. I said it. Live longer. Life expectancy is increasing in this country. It is not a coincidence. There are simple, safe, effective therapies. For example, peptides. It can significantly improve the production and health of your cells. That is health from the ground up, folks. You can sleep better, lose weight, build muscle, have energy, have sex, be in a good mood. If this sounds good to you. Management, we have all of the cutting-edge modalities to help you live a healthy, quality, lengthy life.
That's right, and it's a... Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to give out the number, Dr. Matez. Now, again, it is a completely free consultation for Steve Kane listeners. But you got to mention the Steve Kane Show when you call Dr. Matez's office. 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. And online, hormonetherapy.bocaraton.com. All right, Dr. Matez, some great information. You too. Take care. Take care. All right. Yeah, Dr. Matez. He was over at Wings Plus last week on the State of the Union night. Some of you might have had an opportunity to meet Dr. Matez. Oh, man. So, yeah. So, things are really coming apart. Did you guys see Tulsi Gabbard with Hannity last night? Oh, this was great. I got one clip of that I want to share with you. Tulsi Gabbard's the one to watch out for. I've been talking about this for about a year. Tulsi Gabbard is being groomed for either the top or bottom of the ticket in the 24 or 28. Don't believe much of what you say, because you hear her say. Believe everything you say. I misspoke. Don't believe much of what she says. But she had a brief moment of honesty with Hannity last night. Hannity pulled something out of her. So I'm going to play it for you. But her thing is to pass herself off as a reasonable Democrat. And I've been telling you, she is a socialist. She is as radical as Obama and all the rest. She just hides it. And a lot of conservatives get very excited about her because she's in the military. And most conservatives would be comfortable with her being nominated as Secretary of Defense or something. Okay, so you've really got to watch out for Tulsi Gabbard. She is she's the Trojan horse and the savior of the Democrat Party, either top or bottom of the ticket, a couple presidential election cycles from now. I promise you, that's what the move is. And you very well will see her in the next time there's a Democrat in the White House. If it's not her, you'll probably see her as Secretary of Defense. I'm telling you, there'll be a move for that. And a lot of conservatives will celebrate it. She is radical as radical can be. She hides it so she can sound reasonable, as opposed to these Democrats that are running for your vote today that you're seeing all over television in New Hampshire. So Hannity had Tulsi Gabbard on last night and really exposed her on her position on legalizing drugs. And I'm here to tell you that I am opposed to the legalization of drugs. Okay? And I think most people are, especially... marijuana is one thing. Marijuana is one thing. But when you get into heroin and cocaine, come on. Most people will cop to in a minute to smoking weed, but when it comes to heroin, cocaine, they don't want to, oh no, even though they might do it all the time. Tulsi Gabbard supports legalization of all drugs. And Pelosi pulled it out of her, Sean Hannity pulled it out of her last night. Listen to this exchange. Sean Hannity with Tulsi Gabbard.
I would love to be able to work with President Trump on ending this failed war on drugs. And I think the first place legalize that drugs? Start is by ending the federal marijuana prohibition. You want to legalize all drugs? I think that we need to look to the model in Portugal. You want to legalize? To the model in Portugal, where there has been a decriminalization and in some cases legalization and regulation. Heroin? So that we treat substance abuse and addiction. Would you legalize heroin? Substance abuse and addiction. Would you legalize heroin? Don't make me be a jerk. As a healthcare issue, rather than one where we are putting more and more people heroin. Would you legalize in our prisons. Would you legalize it? This is my point. We've got to end the failed war on drugs. So that we can help people. We can help people who need help. All right. Rather than putting them in our prisons. But thank you for coming. Thank you.
I wouldn't have thanked her for coming. At the end of that, I wouldn't thank her for coming at all. I would, I said you didn't answer the question, so I'm going to assume. So the viewers assume. This is what I would, but he'd never get her back, which is what they always want to do. Tulsi Gabbard did not answer my question, so you, the viewers, can take from that she wants to legalize heroin. I mean, that's how radical she is. Very dangerous candidate. And that clip from Sean Hannity is one that's going to come back to haunt her in the future in 24 or 28 when she runs for president or vice president. And it's so interesting, when you talk about these slippery slopes, because, marijuana is legal now. It's going to be that way. It's something we got to deal with. It's just going to be that way. And, the marijuana legalization, I believe the big tobacco companies are behind that stealthily, all right? Because, cigarette smoking's kind of out. They had these anti-smoking campaigns in the 90s that were so effective. A lot of people still smoke, but it's not like it used to be. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, remember people smoking on airplanes and in restaurants? It was awful. I was never a smoker. Even though both of my parents were when I was a kid, I've never been a smoker. But smoking is out. And tobacco companies still make a lot of money, but it's not like the old days. And there's going to come a time when these big tobacco manufacturers are selling marijuana cigarettes by the pack at your local gas station, convenience store. That's coming. That's the long game with them. But that's here to stay. There's nothing you can do about marijuana legalization. It's here, and it's going to stay. It's been done. And, but marijuana is much different than these other hardcore drugs like cocaine and heroin. And this week, both Tulsi Gabbard and over the weekend with Chris Wallace, the unemployed former mayor, the man without a job, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, also wants to legalize all drugs. I mean, what does it say about your party that you have two candidates out there that are trying to get the vote of heroin addicts and cokeheads? People can debate marijuana all day, okay? But there's no debate on heroin and cocaine. There's nothing good comes out of heroin or cocaine. You know, you can come up with all your excuses about the medicinal uses of marijuana, and it helps cancer patients and AIDS patients and helps glaucoma. I know the rap, and that, okay. But I have never heard someone say, well, you know, heroin and cocaine, there are many great medicinal benefits of... Have you ever heard that? No. So what's going on with the Democrats? Why do they have Mayor Pete, and why do they have Tulsi Gabbard out there supporting the legalization of cocaine and heroin? I for the life of me, I can only think of that they're viewing it as another voting block, because that's how they view everything. Everyone is just a voting block for them. I don't get it. It's bad news. But I'll give Hannity credit for pulling that out of her, and he didn't let up on it. Okay, he still should. He's still, a little weak sometimes on interviews, but that was a good moment with Hannity. So I'll give Hannity credit for that one. Now, Valentine's Day is Friday. Today's Tuesday. Valentine's Day is Friday. And there is no greater gift than the gift of a MyPillow for Valentine's Day. And there are so many incredible deals when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout. Now, again, every special at MyPillow.com you can take advantage of when you use the promo code KANE. And at MyPillow.com, when you click on the radio listener special, when you go there right now, you'll see. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and no matter what special you take advantage of with the promo code KANE, there's an opportunity to save another $10 off of that already great deal when you use the promo code KANE. And this is spectacular. The MyPillow body pillow, which Steve has, and you can see me actually demonstrate the MyPillow body pillow with SteveKaneShow.com. My wife and I bought some of these MyPillow body pillows as Christmas gifts, and we got one in the mail, and I showed it and demonstrated it. And, you have to put it in the dryer to fluff it up when you get it in the mail because they come vacuum packed. And my wife and I made a little video at home of us getting the MyPillow body pillow, putting it in the dryer, and showing you what it looks like after you fluff it up in the dryer for 10 minutes. And it's an unbelievable pillow. Steve has one, and it's a MyPillow that has that patented fill inside that is the length of the human body to curl up to. The normal price for the MyPillow body pillow is $89.99. When you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, it's just $29.99. And at MyPillow.com in the radio listener special section, this extra $10 off, you can get the MyPillow body pillow regular price, $89.99, for just $19.99. But you got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The MyPillow pet beds, 30% off right now with the promo code KANE. The buy one MyPillow, get one for free offer, a spectacular deal when you use the promo code KANE. And at MyPillow.com, you can get that extra $10 off the already discounted price when you use the promo code KANE. The MyPillow towel sets, they come in 7 different colors. Buy one set of MyPillow towels, get the second one free. But you got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. The Giza Cotton MyPillow Dream Sheets, which I have a set of, an incredible deal. When you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, buy one set of Giza MyPillow Dream Sheets, get a second one free, and there are a whole bunch of other specials, including up to $400 off the MyPillow mattress when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. And when you order by phone, make sure to use the promo code KANE at checkout. Tell them on the phone, spell it for them, K-A-N-E. I have to spell it for them, K-A-N-E, to take advantage of all of these deals when you order by phone as well. 1-800-716-4879. All right, 2 hours down. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Third and final hour begins right now.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Attention homeowners, this is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. I'm here to cut your electric bill and save you a lot of money. Perhaps even eliminate your electric bill altogether. We do this by making your entire home energy efficient.
All right, 19 away from 4,000 subs, guys. Come on.
doors, windows,
Help me get to
insulating
4,000.
your attic, AC systems and ducts, hot water heaters, and even adding solar. Energy-efficient improvements that actually pay for themselves over a short period of time. Our program is designed to make the savings on your electric bill pay for all or part of your low monthly payments. The PACE program is government-sponsored and gives you up to 30 years to pay. Requires no credit check, no money down, no income verification, and no payments for up to 18 months. You only need to be current on your mortgage and taxes for the last 3 years to qualify. Energy savings and hurricane solutions made easy. Call 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 to start saving money now.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities, I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Avoid probate with a revocable living trust. $350 for single people, $450 for married couples. When you complete your trust with attorney Barry Siegel, he will give you a $100 gift certificate to Tavolino Italian Restaurant in Coral Springs. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices in South Florida, including downtown Fort Lauderdale, Coral Gables, and downtown Miami. 1-855-FLA 3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Yes. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Third and final hour has begun. Indeed, it has. All right, let's go back to our very busy phones. Oh, by the way, trending right now, I played that audio in the last hour, that poor audio quality of Bloomberg. Right now, trending on the Twitter, hashtag Bloomberg is racist. See? They're out for Bloomberg now. How does something all of a sudden come out and be trending on the Twitter, huh? The forces of the Democrat establishment are after Bernie, and they're after Bloomberg. Hashtag Bloomberg is racist. And also, when is the president going to pardon Roger Stone and General Flynn? Good morning. You're on the radio.
Boy, there's so much stuff to talk about. I was going to talk about drugs, and now you triggered me on Flynn and Stone. And
oh, yeah.
Big mess. One big mess. Yes, and government can't stand a guy like Donald Trump coming in and cleaning their clocks and getting the results he's getting. Government cannot stand it.
No. Well, my whole life growing up, and maybe not my whole life, but maybe it started with Ross Perot, when they would say, you can't run the government like a business. And Trump's done exactly that, and we're in an economic period like we have not seen in my lifetime.
Everything's a business. If you're a good city manager, which is, nobody really mentions that, to be a city manager is one tough job. And if you run it like a business, sharpen your pencil, try to get the best deals out of the vendors, out of the government contracts.
This is the Bill O'Reilly.
Bam, you're a winner. The city of Plantation has a business lady as the mayor, Lynn Stoner, and she is the most qualified one to be a strong mayor. It's the only city in that I can really think of where they have a strong mayor that's both a mayor and a city manager.
Yeah.
Lynn Stoner has a history.
Yeah.
Government contract, so all right, she's qualified for it. You've got to have business sense to be in government.
Well, listen, what's going on right now in the Democrat Party is they're trying to tell us that all of this great economic news that's out there that we're all experiencing on some level isn't happening. And it's very difficult to run. You know, if I were the Democrats, you know, we're in the roaring 20s right now. If I were the Democrats, that would be something maybe in an act of desperation they could run on. Well, remember the last roaring 20s 100 years ago, how that ended. You know what I mean? So, but they're not. They're out there trying to tell us that the economy's not working for everyone. I cannot imagine that you could find too many people out there complaining about the current state of the economy that are regular working people and voters.
What the funny thing about this economy, and everybody's saying, "Oh, the stock."
Does this guy sound like Bill O'Reilly? People think this guy is Bill O'Reilly.
Economy, and if you take a good look into it, the stock market really doesn't have anything to do with the fundamentals of business and GDP. The stock market's all greed and fear and secondary cash floating around out there, and the buyers and sellers doing greed. You can find a company stock that is kind of low and going sideways and flat, and they could have a great bottom line personally. The two don't necessarily...
Well, in Florida, one big tell on the economy you can see in Florida, it's tourism. You know, because we're a tourist economy primarily. You know, I know we got a lot of farming too, but mainly Florida is a tourist economy. And if you look at the prices of hotels all over Florida right now, they're at an all-time high in what is typically an off-season period. And that's an economic indicator. People are traveling more. And they're traveling more because the economy is doing so well and they can afford to.
I think our great president needs to go next, and I'm intrigued why he hasn't. The pharmaceutical cost of drugs, hospitals doing a 10-time markup on aspirin, this drug thing, the pharmaceutical industry, the cost of health insurance, this is the
Does this
big
guy sound like
Magilla. He
Bill
fixes
O'Reilly?
that, then you're really going to see a...
Oh, yeah, yeah. So now I was talking earlier in the show. Mayor Pete is not the front runner. He lost Iowa by 6,114 votes to Bernie Sanders, yet they awarded him the delegates. They have him the front runner in New Hampshire. And, you know, I'm of the opinion that the Democrats are in such a panic over a socialist winning the nomination. They're using Pete in these honky states to try to get Bernie out of the running. And as soon as they go to South Carolina, where black people are not going to be voting for a white gay man, they're going to drop Mayor Pete like, you know what?
A complete... The Democrats are finally... The chickens have come home to roost.
That's right. That's right. Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. Yeah. That's correct. That's correct. That's right. Well, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. All right. Take care. Awesome, interesting stuff. Good morning. You are on the radio. Oh, hey, Scott, you caught me off guard today too. You're right there. You know, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Yeah, he sneaks it. Scott from Cut My Kilowatts is in an incredible business. He is in the business of saving you money. And, you know, as we get into the warmer months, I think most households, one of the largest expenses in Florida each and every year is your electric bill, because we've got the Florida heat and we've got air conditioning that we've got to run every day, especially during the summers. And Scott is in the business of cutting your kilowatts, just like the name of his company. Hey, Scott, how can you save people in the listening audience money?
Well, right now I can save them a lot of money on insulation and radiant barrier and work in their attic, because their attic is nice and cool and easy to work in. I mean, literally, they're getting insulation and radiant barrier for like $50. At this time of year, I've got so many crews, I've just got to keep them working. I'm literally buying the work. So I'm trying to get people to give me a call. Let me have a conversation with them on the phone, set up a meeting at their house.
Steve Kane
and,
Show.
show them how I can save them money. I mean, most of the
Steve Kane
improvements I do pay for themselves within 2 or 3 years. They get all their money back, then they're making money on their savings, their investment. There's no return better than, you know, getting your electric bills cut down, especially if they're they're over $200-300. Those are the houses where I really shine on.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone that is happy with their electric bill that has not met with you, Scott, because electric. When we get into those summer months, that air conditioning going day. Oh, did we lose you, Scott? I can hear Scott, but he can't hear me. Oh, okay, I got you. Well, listen, give Scott a call. His phone rings directly to his cell phone, so you can also text Scott if you would like. If you miss him, he will return your call. Oftentimes, I'll leave a message for Scott, and he calls me back while I'm leaving the message. So you can call or text message Scott. Scott, what is your number?
954-939-1500. That's 954. And they can find us on the web at cutmykilowatts.com.
All right, Scott, take care, and we'll talk later in the week. All right, take care. Steve's joining us, and let's squeeze in a call here while Steve joins. Good morning. You're on the radio. All right.
What your caller said before about the medical delivery system being too expensive, he's right on the money. Forget about Medicare for all and killing you.
Well, let me slow you down right there. Anytime someone starts talking about healthcare prices, I become bored. I mean, it's really boring. I mean, it's, enough. I mean, we got a lot of things on the table that are more relevant.
What he's saying is it's not that you're boring, sir.
No, it's the topic.
The topic is boring.
Yeah, I know. You've called before. It's not. It may not be. Hey, listen.
He doesn't give up.
It may not be boring to you. Let me give you an example. To me, there's a new Star Trek series, Star Trek Picard. To me, I could have a discussion with my friends about whether or not Star Trek Picard is really Star Trek, and we would be fascinated.
No one cares.
But we would destroy the radio show because the audience would fall asleep. That's how healthcare is.
You guys are entertainers. You're very good. I love you all. But I'll tell you, let me squeeze something in.
Is it about healthcare?
Down and nothing will work. That's all I want to say.
Okay. All right. Oh, whatever that meant. But I don't take it personally. He's a nice guy. He's called before, and he's a very interesting caller.
Call back and expand on it if you want. On his answer.
Did you hear Pelosi? That clip I had of Pelosi?
No, I did not.
Oh, let me hear that. Okay, let me play this for you again. This is great. This is circulating all over the internet.
By the way, good morning.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah.
To our wonderful audience.
So Pelosi, she had a press conference. She's at the podium in the House briefing room, and she said this to the entire press, and it's not been reported, but somebody picked it up and put it online, and it's everywhere, okay? So listen to this. This is Pelosi. She's talking about something called the wrap-up smear. Listen to this.
Called the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
It's called slander. It's what it's called, and you get the press to report it.
I can't believe that Nancy Pelosi was so honest.
Well, she's talking to her friends in the media. She didn't think it would make it out there, but it's all over social media today. Oh, my goodness.
That's what they did to. Who is the guy?
The Russia hoax. President Trump. President Trump, yeah.
Everything the Democrats.
Well, there's a lot of good stuff going on, okay? And I was talking about this. Let me do a recap, because I was talking about this in the first and second hour. Let me do a quick recap. When President Trump was acquitted in the Senate trial last week, that is the official end of the coup. The coup has finally been defeated with the acquittal in the Senate. There's been some big stories have come out. There's been an update on the Vindman firing. When the colonels, the twin brother colonels Vindman, were fired and removed from the White House, there's reporting this morning that members of the White House staff were cheering as they were being escorted off the White House grounds. Huge story. President Trump has identified the official in the White House who wrote that book, Anonymous, An Insider Look at the Trump White House. They're being fired this week, according to DeGenova.
I understand there are a bunch of firings coming.
Well, and DeGenova also went on to say, and it's being reported in the Washington Post, that the Inspector General is on his way out to be fired too this week. So Trump is cleaning. Now that he's been acquitted, the coup has stopped. He's firing all the soldiers in the coup. And yesterday, there's word coming out that criminal indictments from Durham may be coming this week.
When I see it,
So, I mean, Trump is cleaning house and draining the swamp like no one's business.
that's good. The thing about the cheering in the White House when
The Vindman.
left, that's ambiguous. You can't tell what they could be cheering the brothers because they like them.
The people that work for Trump are cheering because they like them as they're being escorted out.
Worked for Trump. I mean,
No. They were holdovers, government bureaucrats. No.
But there are a bunch of those. You think they were the last?
Only you would find the negative in that. No. They were not cheering for them. They were cheering that they were being removed.
I think the chances are you're right.
Well, I read the story. It's in the Gateway Pundit this morning. No, they weren't cheering because they were supporting them. No. And they're talking about that the colonel that testified may be court-martialed.
Which one?
The one that, they're identical twins. They're both Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, but the one that testified on television may be court-martialed because he was working in collusion with the whistleblower, possibly.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
This is good stuff. It's a great week.
Every week is a great week when you root for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I had a sad, you want to break, and I'll talk when I get back. We had a sad happening in the family. My sister, my little sister, to whom I am so
Steve
close, succumbed yesterday to Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh, my goodness.
And the details are heartbreaking. As you see families destroyed around the country.
Oh, my goodness.
By these disgusting people who were fighting the only hope this nation has, Donald Trump.
Oh, my goodness. Well, on the line, Steve, we have attorney Barry Siegel.
Attorney Barry Siegel, the greatest attorney when it comes to something called, which you may never have heard of if you're not a regular Steve Kane listener, something called elder law. Barry, how is the world of elder law shaping up this morning?
Steve, good morning. Elder law and estate planning are doing just very well. This is a time of the year where we have many visitors from the north, our snowbirds who are down, and this is really the time of the year for those of you who are snowbirds to really make sure that you get started with the changes that you've been thinking about, because what ends up happening is at the end of the time period when the snowbirds are getting ready, it's really a good idea if you're wanting to make now, so by the time March, April, May roll around, you will not be left waiting till next year, because of course we never know what could happen tomorrow, and so it's very important to make sure you plan for today.
It's so easy to make that appointment. All you need to do is pick up the phone and call Barry's office. He'd be more than happy to schedule an appointment for you. The number toll-free, 1-855-FLA, as in Florida, 3782. One more time, toll-free, 1-855-FLA, 3782. Barry, good talking to you, and we'll speak soon, all right?
Thank you, Steve. Have a great day.
You take care, my friend. We are back.
Yeah, I was just reading this. Yeah, we're back. We're back. I was just reading this story about Michael Douglas that I'm going to call total BS on. The great Kirk Douglas just passed away at the age of 103.
There's a great actor.
Yeah, what's your favorite Kirk Douglas role? I've seen Spartacus. I've seen the most. I just saw that recently on Disney Plus. It's great.
James Mason.
Yeah, as Captain Nemo. Yeah. I like Spartacus myself, but
he was very good. Champion was an excellent movie. Some of his early stuff.
He did a movie with Burt Lancaster that no one has seen. It was in the 80s. It was called Wise Guys, and it was a very funny movie. Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster played these old crooks who did a long stint in prison and they were like arrested in the 50s, and they got out in the late 80s. Out of prison for doing a train robbery, and they try to have a normal life, and all they know is crime, so they do a train robbery, which is a very difficult thing to find a train that has money on it in 1987. Very funny movie. But Kirk Douglas was great. But Michael Douglas,
also great.
Yeah, he had his time.
Falling Down.
Michael Douglas's best movie is Romancing the Stone. You ever see Romancing the Stone? Yeah, that's a great movie.
Myself, I prefer Falling Down.
I didn't like Falling Down.
Oh, it was great. It was heartbreaking.
I remember
The
it.
ending
Yeah, I
was-
know.
Oh, man, I was crying.
What about Wall Street?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he's campaigning for Michael Bloomberg, and I don't.
Michael Douglas is?
Michael Douglas is campaigning for Bloomberg, and yeah, let me read this story. And I call total BS on this story. Okay, Madison, Wisconsin. Actor Michael Douglas played a Wisconsin governor. See, he's campaigning. He played a Wisconsin governor who turned president in the movie The American President. So since he's an actor who played a senator from Wisconsin who became president, he's in there campaigning in Wisconsin. A lot of times these actors think they really were president. But anyway, Michael Douglas was in Madison for the opening of Michael Bloomberg's second office in the state of Wisconsin. He's also been featured in radio commercials voicing his support for the former Republican mayor of New York City. Michael Douglas said Bloomberg, has done more as a private citizen and as mayor than most congressmen or senators. Well, that's probably true because he's created jobs, I guess, with his business. Michael Douglas says, "This is a rare moment. I haven't felt like this since John Kennedy." Douglas came to Wisconsin a day after burying his father, actor Kirk Douglas, who died Wednesday at the age 103. Michael Douglas thanks, now this is where we're going to get to where I'm calling BS, okay? Michael Douglas thanked supporters for their condolences and prayers to his family and said he and his father talked often about sports and politics. When Bloomberg announced he was running for president, Douglas said his father, Kirk Douglas, was excited about the prospects of Mayor Bloomberg. He's the quote, "I don't know if he was pulling my leg or not, but one of the last words my father said in the hospital, he asked me to lean in close to him," Douglas said. "I leaned in close to him. He looked at me and he said, Mike can get it done." Come on. Kirk Douglas's last words were, "Mike Bloomberg can get it done." And I like the dramatic, "coming close to me." It's probably from one of Michael Douglas's movies or something. Give me a break, Michael Douglas.
The field of political prognostication, which we're
liar.
Half the fun in talk radio is predicting things
Yeah.
that are going to happen and seeing if they come true or not. Of all the people running, the simplest one to
Fatal Attraction, too. That was better than Falling
Fatal
Down.
Attraction was good, especially that one particular shot.
What, when she poured the battery acid on the car?
No, that's not the shot.
A lot of guys think Fatal Attraction was a documentary film. You know?
Well, that scene from, let's not go into that.
Okay.
Let's stay with politics.
Okay.
Now I forgot what.
Oh, we were talking about you were talking about Bloomberg, and Bloomberg's done.
All these races, the presidential races, in the end comes down to chemistry. That's the personality, the chemistry. Look at Barack Obama, another classic example. What Obama had going for him, other than the color of his skin, was the fact that he had an appeal.
He's charming.
Yeah,
like Bill Clinton.
That's the word. And Clinton, the prime example.
Charmer in chief.
That's the main thing, and that's why, we looked at all these sorry Democratic nominees a while back, and we tried to pick out the one with charisma. There was no one, other than, of course, our president.
Oh, Trump, yeah.
Who oozes charisma.
Who's also charming, President Trump.
Yeah, way charming. He's right at the top of the scale.
Mm-hmm.
And when these people talk about Bloomberg with all the money beating Trump, and the bottom line, it comes down to these two guys are going to be in a series of appearances on stage, and they're going to be showing it, I'm sure.
Bloomberg on a box.
I'm sure Bloomberg has already lined up writers and all that kind of stuff, but those kind of jokes don't make it. There's nothing like the real thing, the spontaneous. And these two people are going to get on a stage, and Bloomberg is going to shrivel up and be blown away with the wind.
Well, this new video that came out of him today, I played the audio. I know it's poor audio. They have subtitles on the video. There's a video of him that he tried to destroy and suppress from 2015 when he was talking about how all the crime in New York is in the black neighborhoods. He said you can Xerox the suspects and just send that description out to all the cops, and was coming out in favor of stop and frisk. He's done with the blacks. Yeah, especially in South Carolina, which is majority black Democrat vote block there.
Worse than that.
He's done.
That'll be forgotten long ago, but what they're not going to be able to forget is watching a campaign that stretches over 10 months, watching two of these guys go head to head, and it's going to be brutal.
With Bloomberg standing on a box.
Brutal. And of course the box is probably not going to become the tagline and all the humor that
Bloomberg on a box. Two B's.
Bloomberg on a box.
That's right.
And the other thing is Bloomberg's nasty.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he's got a nasty.
He's not charming.
No, I would call it counter charm is what he has.
To be president, you have to be charming to win over voters.
And yet they think that the money is going to do it. The money will buy the advertising, but nothing's going to buy him the charm that he needs, and he doesn't have.
And another thing too, he's got a couple problems with blacks. This stop and frisk audio that's out is devastating. In South Carolina, the Democrats, that's a majority black voting bloc. The Democrats in South Carolina black, and there's a lot of anti-Semitism among blacks, isn't there? And you talk about a guy.
I haven't been paying attention lately, but it used to be the
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
I'm
And
not sure that's so true anymore.
And I got to tell you, most of the country, when you get to these southern states, really don't care for New Yorkers that much. I know Donald Trump's a New Yorker, but he's a little different, and than a stereotypical New Yorker. Bloomberg is just he's not a likable guy.
I don't worry about Bloomberg.
Oh, he's nothing. There's going to be a broker convention. This is going to be the first broker convention of the modern era.
And the great thing is, if they do to
Bernie
what they did last time, at a brokered convention, they will never put that party back together.
No, not for a long time.
It'll be a bloodbath.
Oh yeah, they have no electable candidate, none. So whoever the nominee is at the convention is not someone today.
I mean, I would never vote for them over
Trump.
Trump, but of the bad,
Please don't tell me Tulsi Gabbard,
No.
who wants to legalize heroin.
What's
Klobuchar?
Klobuchar.
Oh.
She's got a very nice quality to her. The big difference between Klobuchar and who's the other girl that's about to get knocked out?
Tulsi?
No.
Oh, Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren is as fake as a $3.
Oh, yeah.
bill. I mean,
Yeah.
she is so painstakingly mannered and phony, and but that's not the case with.
Klobuchar is an idiot, okay? She gave a speech on the dangers of climate change in a snowstorm, okay, a couple months back. She's got a lot of she's been abusive to her staff, and they've been very vocal about it, and there's a lot of reports of major abuse that she's committed against her staff. She's not electable. She's not electable.
Well, I didn't say she was going to.
And another thing about it, too.
I just said that of the bunch that's running now, who do you like better? You don't, Bernie?
Who the Democrat nominee is not on the ballot in New Hampshire today.
Yeah.
And another thing, too. Barack Obama and John F. Kennedy are exceptions, okay? People don't make it into the presidency who have been in the Congress. Very rare. Obama and Kennedy are exceptions, okay? They're different types of people. But if you go back of the presidents before Obama, right? George W. Bush, a governor. Bill Clinton, a governor. Yeah, because they want leadership experience.
No.
There's executive experience.
The reason for
Steve KANE show.
is that anybody that's been in the Congress has a paper trail.
Of weird votes in Washington.
All kinds of votes.
They'll vote for a bill that has abortion on it, even though they're an evangelical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When they have that thick record to go over, they can always find conflicts and contradictions and
Yeah, but very few presidents come from Congress. There's a lot. Remember John Kerry? I voted for it before I voted against it, and that made sense. So very few presidents come from Congress. It's a big problem.
It's time to bring Kerry back.
Yeah. John Kerry, please. All right, we got Janet Cimarelli from Save-A-Lot on the line.
Janet Cimarelli, my favorite. Janet, how are you doing, dear?
I am very, very fine, and I trust that you and Brian are doing very well, because I know that you take your supplements. I
Yes,
know
we
that
do.
you're paying attention to supporting your good health with all of the natural things I talk about here. And so what I want to tell everyone today is, I'll be at Save-A-Lot from 12 to 5. You can bring in your blood tests, and we can focus their information on your blood test results so that you can prevent any unpleasant things from developing. And so lots and lots in the news about the coronavirus, and so let's talk about that foundation for your immune system, as basic as vitamin C and vitamin D. Then you might think about doing a little bit of whey protein. High quality grass-fed organic whey protein raises your glutathione levels, protects your healthy cells. And the best part, 15% off everything in the store. Everything in the store. So come on in, bring your blood work, we'll review your diet, and I'll give you a little bit of guidance about the best supplement choices.
A free
to
nutritional
reach your goals.
consultation. And I got to tell you, Janet has done that work for me for a long time, for other members of my family, my daughter who's, Adrian, who's going through some health problems now, and periodically, Janet, we send her out a little care package. Janet goes over her blood work all the time. I got to tell you, it's great to have a nutritional advisor, especially when it's at no charge, to steer you in the right direction when it comes to good health. Janet, tell them where to find it again. 15% off everything in the store. Good,
Yeah,
Janet.
amazing, amazing, amazing.
Tell them how they can make an
Find
appointment.
Save-A-Lot. Okay, just come on in. There's a little sign-in sheet. I take people and they order. They're signed in on my sheet, and it's a private consult in an office. So very, very private. No issues with eavesdropping or overhearing or anything like that. So you can find Save-A-Lot Nutrition Center in the former Penn Dutch Plaza. Well, just about a half mile south of Sample Road on the west side of 441. If you want additional directions to Save-A-Lot in Margate, where you want to call, 754-307-1655. 754-307-1655.
Janet, good talking to you. And go ahead. What were you going to say in closing?
And I was just going to say, you and Brian have a wonderful, healthful day. Talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thanks so very much, and we'll be back right after this.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for that one, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man, and Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
I'm attorney Barry Siegel with the Siegel Law Group. Do you have a revocable living trust? If not, why not? Save time, save money, and avoid probate. Just $350 if you are single, and $450 for married couples. Call me. I have 5 offices throughout South Florida. The phone number is toll-free 855-FLA-3782. Again, 855-FLA 3782.
I'll bring up something.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we're back. Steve Kane here with Brian Craig, and we are on the day of the New Hampshire primary.
Please.
A lot of excitement.
That Trump has already won.
I was very ticked off that they didn't have Trump on television last.
I don't know what Fox was thinking.
I don't know. It's outrageous. I can't believe that the Trump people had anything to do with it. I mean, I'm sure they didn't turn down an offer. I'm sure. So why would Fox not?
Well, I was telling you about this. Here's what's going on with Fox. If you notice, Mayor Pete Buttigieg is on Fox constantly. He's the presumed front runner at this moment, even though he's not. Fox News, they're sucking up to Pete Buttigieg. They're doing everything they can. They want to have on Fox News Channel a official Democrat Party debate. And they're buddying up so much to Pete Buttigieg, they think he can make it happen. And part of that is not to air the Trump rally where he's attacking all of these people the night before the primary. That's why they did, in my opinion. That's what I think.
That they volunteered to skip it.
Yeah, it was a decision they made to skip it. They want that Democrat debate so bad at Fox News Channel. They don't have one. The Democrats won't give it. But if Mayor Pete's the guy who looks like he's going to win it, he can make it happen.
When I said they chose to skip it, I was talking about the Trump people.
No, Fox News decided not to carry it.
And the Trump people didn't put up a...
What are you supposed to do? I think it's some...
Well, you don't think Fox has any leverage with all these politicians? Come on.
Fox decided not to carry it. They could have carried it. They decided not to carry it. It was a pretty historic rally. For him to do that on the eve of the Democrat primary was huge. It was like...
Did anybody discuss it? Did anybody...
Well, I was for 2 hours before you got here. But other than me, I haven't heard anybody else yet because I come on first. But it was... I mean, him going to New Hampshire last night is like when he went to Michigan at midnight on Election Day.
Yes. He has a way of doing these things. So I started to tell you, my sister, who is 20 years younger than I am.
I don't know.
She lives in California. She's a flower child. She's not a politically oriented person by nature, but beyond liberal. I mean, just a flower child. What can I tell you? Those of you that were alive back in the 60s, which is probably most of you, understand the concept of a flower child. And I drag her kicking and screaming. I'm in contact with her a lot. We talk at least once a week. And we try to, traditionally we've stayed away from politics. And she is supposed to come to visit me in May, which is my birthday month. She was going to come back stay with me for a week or so. And she called up and canceled. And she was, all kinds of anxiety states, and, she was going through a very tough time. She was depressed and all this stuff. And I finally realized, I called her back, I realized it yesterday. I said, do you know what the problem is? You are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And what's going on is, I mean, she's really a wreck all the time. Her self-esteem is destroyed because everything she believed in.
She's afraid to leave California because there's so many like-minded people in California. She doesn't want to leave the border.
I'm afraid if she comes in contact with regular people, it'll depress her even more.
You know what I'm thinking now about your sister? Okay, she went with us on our first Steve Kane cruise, and she was MIA a lot of the time. She missed dinner every night,
She was sick.
Maybe she didn't want to be around the Trump people so much. Maybe the sickness was a ruse.
No,
maybe being around Trump people made her sick.
I don't think that was it. But it was definitely...
Trump derangement syndrome is splitting up your... It's like the Civil War.
Yeah, I mean...
Brother against brother.
You know what I told her was that I kind of explained it to her, and I talked her into changing her mind and coming. And you know what I used to close the deal? I
Bought the ticket?
A session with Dr. Janae Lemaski.
Oh, okay.
Which she jumped on. She was...
They don't have therapists in California?
Not like Dr. Lemaski,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
There's probably more therapists per capita in California than any other state.
Yeah. But I told her the story about, when this old story about psychiatry and depression, when they're in the context of earthquakes, which they get a lot of in California. And whenever there's a major earthquake or a decent-sized earthquake, people they fill up the psychiatrist's offices. And the reason for that is because one of the things we're used to, that our whole system is geared to accepting, is that the earth doesn't move. And when you've been through an experience where all of a sudden this thing you believed in with your heart and your soul for your whole life proves not to be true, it drives people nutty. They get depressed and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
This is true. I'm not making this up. This is too creative for me to make up on my own. This is a real fact. And that's the basis of her Trump derangement syndrome.
Well,
Good is bad, bad is good. Everything she believes in is being repudiated by Trump's success. And she just didn't feel up to being bombarded with that for a week straight, so she can't.
Yeah. You know, I wish President Trump would have a massive rally in California and let the people of California know, which is occupied illegal alien territory, that we're here for you.
Well, you know, it's such a good idea. Maybe he's got it planned down the road. There's a long way to go here.
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense. Can you imagine how many people he could deliver in California?
Well, it would not that we.
It might be a little bit messy.
It's not that we would necessarily win California, but I think that a lot of millions of people in California feel they're kind of like the Brits before Brexit. They're like in occupied territory. They've been cut off from America. They feel their votes don't matter. And I would like to see President Trump go there and tell the people of California, we have not forgotten about you, and he is here to liberate you.
We got to have Dr. Lemansky, and I want to talk a little bit, because there are people in our audience, I'm sure, that have the same thing, whether they're on the end of it where they're having problems with another member of their family, or anything. It's a sad thing.
You know, this is an interesting thing. In my family, it's been an opposite effect. There's been a lot of people in my family over the years who have been historically Democrat, and they all love Trump. There's not one person in my even extended family with some long-term Democrat people that don't love Trump.
But they don't have Trump derangement
Syndrome. No, they don't. Well, I think a lot of them didn't like him in the beginning, but they see how great things are going.
People change over.
See, you know what? Your sister's Trump derangement syndrome is that she knows Trump is great. And she's trying to block out that reality.
No, that's not Trump derangement syndrome. Trump derangement syndrome
is it denial?
No, she thinks he's Hitler. Okay.
What's Hitler like about him?
Well, that's the point that I'm trying to show you. It shows you how far removed. What this basically boils down to is, in the advanced stages of Trump derangement syndrome, is there's a reality gap. They just are not seeing things realistically.
Yeah.
All of the wonderful things that Trump has done, I started pointing out to my sister, you know, how well her trust fund has been doing.
And how about the border in California? She should be very happy. There's fewer illegals infesting her state.
Oh, no, she's a flower child.
She wants more illegals there doing crime?
Help everybody, you know. Trump hates the immigrants.
His wife's an immigrant. His wife's an immigrant. Two of his wives have been immigrants.
The gist of Trump derangement syndrome is a person's perceptions become totally removed from reality.
Have you seen this Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm segment on the MAGA hat?
No.
Okay, people have been telling me about it. I just saw one clip of it. I haven't seen the whole segment. But Larry David, he's driving down the road, and there's a guy on a motorcycle who looks like someone from Sons of Anarchy or Hell's Angels, like a motorcycle gang member looking guy on his motorcycle. Larry David changes lanes, doesn't see the guy, and almost runs him over. But he misses, and the guy starts cussing at him and yelling at him, you know. And then he pulls up next to Larry David on the car, and he's like, "What are you doing? I should pull you out of that car." And Larry David had a MAGA hat. He put the MAGA hat on, and he says, "I'm sorry, I didn't see you." And he's like, "Okay, just don't let it happen again," you know, and he moves on. I mean, Larry David, I don't know if he thinks he's making us look bad by the motorcycle gang member being a Trump guy, but it's a pretty funny segment, Larry David. Yeah.
I wish they'd bring that show back.
I think it is back.
There are new episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I don't know how recent this episode is. I just heard about this yesterday.
They only had one run. They did 13 episodes, and that was it.
No, Steve, they've had like 8 seasons. You didn't know? You thought there was only one season of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I don't know. I haven't looked at them.
I tell you, one of the greatest seasons was when they did the Seinfeld reunion show. It took over a whole season with Michael Richards back after the racial thing, and they had a whole thing of running story about blacks and Michael Richards. Oh my goodness! No, there's like 8 or 10 seasons of that.
It's been a long time since I've looked in my library.
I guess so. Well, this one, what I've seen of this one online, I just heard about this MAGA hat one yesterday for the first time, so that's got to be new.
It's part of a new. Somebody call in that knows what's going on in Curb Your Enthusiasm, because if I'm missing it, I'm going to be upset. Let's take a break. We'll be back. If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients.
Okay, thanks, Mike. No, it's in its 10th season. Someone just told me it's in its 10th season.
The sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics.
Yeah, but they're still making them.
You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the
let me have your phone, because I don't have a lot of time when we're done. Just hand me your phone.
954-597-7060.
I wanted to look at
online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, the time has come for us to take a look at the wonderful world of precious metals, as we do each day at this time. This precious metals segment brought to you by William Youngerman, 52 years plus, advising clients on trends and movements in the gold and silver markets. William, how is it looking this morning?
Great, Steve. How you doing?
Excellent.
Good. Well, the precious metals are doing very good, too, establishing themselves above that $1,570 number yesterday, with gold closing at $1,570.80, $71.80. I'm sorry, that was up $1.80 yesterday. Silver closed unchanged at $17.75 yesterday, with platinum up $3 yesterday at $9.65, and palladium up $2 at $22.65. This morning we saw gold trading under the 1570 early on, and then overnight, and then with U.S. markets opening, pushing it back up over the $1,570 number. Right now, gold trading up $1 at $1,572.80, while silver is down 3 cents at $17.72, and platinum is up $4 at $9.66, and palladium is down $13 at $22.48. So right now, gold finding some support around that $1,570 number. As I said, overnight got down to $1,565 and then pushed the rates back up. We're still looking for gold to take out the highs that we saw.
Bill, William, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. We almost lost you for a second.
Yep, looks like we're about to lose our battery here. But anyway, gold looking good. Pushing itself above 1570. It should build a base around that 1565 to 1575, and then push through the $1,600 numbers. That's what we're looking for, possibly even this week.
Well, also another thing to bear in mind, with Valentine's Day right around the corner, if you're looking for a gift for the one you love, you can find a lot of great stuff, estate jewelry at William Youngerman Inc. at a fraction of what you would pay anywhere else. Basically, William will sell you this wonderful antique gold and silver jewelry for the cost of the metal. And that is, of course, a huge savings. And William, if they want to dispose of precious metals, you can do that for them as well, right?
Absolutely. We have a full stock. We're always in the market to buy all precious metals in all different forms. And we also have everything in stock for immediate delivery if you're looking to buy the precious metals. And for Valentine's Day, we've got a special display for our Steve Kane listeners. Asked to see the sterling silver displays. And you can buy some beautiful gifts for your loved ones at very reasonable prices also in silver.
All right, well, make today the day you stop by 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. Now, that's the Bank of America building. You'll find William on the first floor directly across from the bank. You can reach him by phone at 1-800-327-5010. And then, of course, there is that wonderful website at williamyoungerman.com. Be sure to visit that. William, great talking to you. We'll speak tomorrow, all right?
Okay, have a great day.
You take care, and we're back.
You know, the media, they just can't handle anything. You know, I was just reading an article about this MAGA hat wearing episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And he does another, I haven't seen this scene yet, but there's some guy that's an old acquaintance he doesn't want to sit with and talk to, so he puts on the MAGA hat. The guy won't talk to him. You know, he goes out to a restaurant, he wants to have a seat by himself, he puts the MAGA hat on, no one will sit next to him. You know,
The premise of this...
Californian liberals hate MAGA hat wearing people.
Well, yeah, but I mean, is his character in the show?
No. He's plays himself. Larry David. He's a big liberal guy. Yeah. You know, but it's a funny thing. And I'm reading this article. And they're saying here, Trump retweeted the clip with the motorcycle gang guy. Trump tweets TV show clip, not realizing it insults his fans. Let me tell you, I heard about this show. I don't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm anymore, but I heard about this MAGA hat wearing episode from Trump people. They think it's hilarious. The left just don't understand.
Well, first of all, what the biggest thing the left is bereft of, is a great word for you, bereft.
Yeah.
Humor. Sense of humor.
Yeah, they have none.
And
not anymore.
That's part of the problem. That's why there are so many factors that contribute to the huge success of Donald Trump, but right at the top of the list is the sense of humor. That's why you can watch his appearances over and over and over and over again. They never get repetitious.
That too.
Talk much for a living. They never get, let me try one more time. They never get repetitious. And they're always fresh.
Yeah.
Because he's such a funny guy. He just has a great natural sense.
Well, when they see those, like last night at that rally in New Hampshire, there were so many people that turned out. There was this is true, it's not a joke. There was an overflow area for the overflow. Filled up the arena, there was an overflow. The overflow wasn't big enough. They had an overflow for the overflow. And I played this earlier, but we got to end the show with this one because this is ABC News, which stands for Always Be Clinton. They hate Trump. They're very liberal. And they had Carl Cameron, the White House correspondent for ABC News, at the Trump rally in New Hampshire last night, reporting on the size of the crowd.
ABC News Chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl's at the president's rally and joins me now. Looks like a full house there right behind you. Just give us a sense of how enthused President Trump's base is, especially by his equipment.
Lindsay, Trump supporters are as fired up as I have ever seen them. I mean, this rally is in an arena that I was at just 2 nights ago, Saturday night, at an event that included all of the major Democratic nominees, the candidates for the Democratic nomination. And we have a bigger crowd here by far just for Donald Trump than we had on Saturday for all of the Democrats. Some of these...
That's crazy. They had every Democrat there, and it was a smaller crowd than Trump just by himself got. And they're supposed to be energized for their primary. And that was on a weekend. Trump's there during the week.
They're starting to get it. You see now as they talk, you get more and more of these Trump people that used to be in outer space. They're beginning to get a sense of what is about to happen.
It's all over but the voting.
Exactly.
You know, and the media are starting to be a little honest to try to have some credibility.
Yeah, they're jumping in early to try to salvage their reputation.
Yeah.
And I wish they'd talk to my sister and kind of bring her back to the...
Well, they get Fox in California.
Yeah, not in her house. That's going to be a problem when she gets up here in May, but we'll work something.
You know what you got to do? You put Fox on all your TVs and hide all the remote controls. So she can't turn it off.
I don't want to make her miserable.
Yeah.
My sister
Yeah.
would love her.
Put all the remote controls in the trunk of your car.
All right.
That she won't be able. But you know, there's this thing here with Jonathan Karl from ABC News. That's a historic report because ABC News is very left wing. They hate Trump. They never report on crowd sizes. I've never heard a report like that in the mainstream news. I mean, that's amazing. And the Democrat rally was on the weekend.
Do you think we have enough people out there to start a group with Dr. Lemaski for survivors of the...
I don't know if there's
Democratic
enough
massacre?
people suffering from Trump derangement syndrome anymore.
What are you talking about? In Boca? You gotta be kidding me.
I think I'm in Boca. I see a lot of Trump love in Boca.
I'm sure there's a lot of Trump love everywhere, but...
Listen to this. Listen to this, Steve.
You think all the people that hated Donald Trump are gone?
A lot of them have converted. I was in a parking lot at Publix in Boca, which...
They're gonna get a lot of
Now, for those of you that don't know, Boca is a historic liberal town because you got a lot of New Yorkers up there, okay? You know, transplanted New Yorkers, and they're Democrat. And I'm in my wife's car, and I got a Trump 45 sticker in the back window of the car. I'm in Publix, loading up groceries. This is in liberal Boca. A woman comes up to me, says, "Hey, I got to ask you about your bumper sticker." And I'm like, "Oh, here we go." She said, "Where did you get it?" Because it's a unique one, it's a little different. You know, she wanted to get one first. I said, "Oh, I told her, I said, in Boca, I thought you were going to give me a hard time about the bumper sticker." This is in the same town where I got my taillights busted out when I had a Bush Cheney sticker on the car. So I think Trump has done so much conversion.
I think... I don't think most people realize how prevalent it is, because a lot of people don't talk about it. You know, they're afraid. That does it for today. We thank you, folks, for joining us. Yes, we will be back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Until then, on behalf of my partner, Brian Craig, I'm Steve Kane, and until tomorrow, may God bless America.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone if you die? The new life insurance policies allow you to access your...
All right, guys, make sure you subscribe, all right? See you later.
Due to changes in the